What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Shout out to everybody tuning in. I see you, Francisca, Cece. Shout out to the mods, you all. How's it going? Let's get some music going. We got a watch party, y'all. Mm-mm. My apologies for running 10 minutes behind, but we are about to get right into this. Shout out to Ryan Morrow for his fantastic episodes he's been putting out. I know they're on X as well. We're going to be watching the YouTube version because I have it saved to YouTube. So we got the new show he's done regarding when the bear targeted TPUSA, the counteroffensive with Ryan Morrow. So this video is about 2 hours long. I'm going to speed it up just a bit so that we can try to get in a little of the collab that he did with Paramount Tactical, where they are talking about Candace here. Returning to, well, going to Russia and her plans on probably moving money over there. More than likely, she's trying to move assets. She doesn't want to pay those judgments. Nor does her co-defendant want to accept service. So you just can't make this stuff up. Candace, you brought this upon yourself, you ding dong. So we're going to get started on this. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you come in. Make sure you are hyping these videos and share the videos on X, Twitter, Instagram, those who have Facebook, everywhere you can, so that we can get more eyes and ears on this and this great content out. As you all can see, Candace is here at APAC, PragerU, Daily Wire, at TPUSA ATM. Because she wants them to put her on their payroll. It's so funny because the Daily Wire, PragerU, and TPUSA actually hired her once before and she got fired. She's unhireable. You can make this up. What's going on, Saint? How you doing, honey? Shout out to the mods, you all, Francisco up in here, Saint up in here. Thank you all so much for tuning in and holding it down. I'm sure we're gonna get some weirdos that's gonna come in through, but the mods are not on. They're not in the mood today. I'll tell y'all that right now. So shout out to you guys. Hit the like button coming in. I'm ready to get started. Y'all ready? We got a watch party to get to. Oh man. The thing is, anytime someone talks about Russia, it's always, for some reason a sensitive topic. It's no, we don't need to be like them. They could be like us, but we don't care how they feel. So Candace coming back thinking that she was gonna be able to convince the United States of America to be like Russia. No. Hell no. It didn't work. Well, boy. She just came back and started back attacking Erica Kirk. And then calling a woman by her maiden name. Candace. Boy, how do you continue to show that you're scorned? You are a woman scorned. You're a demon scorned. You're also an alien. She's scorned. She is upset and mad because Charlie Kirk didn't pick her. And now she wants to go to Russia. We're all like, go. Bye. Bye, Felicia. So we can speed it up a little bit for the sake of brevity. I'm going to make sure we get right into this. Shout out to Ryan Morrow. I just love he's so dapper. And I'm excited. He will be joining us on July 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the Lady Luck Club. He will be our special guest. So I'm just looking forward to the collabs that we're going to have for the month of July. We're kicking July off with Ryan Morrow, who will be joining us here in the LLC. Then we have Edie Marie. We have Johnny Walker Dread. We will be doing a collab with Fax Me. I think that would be pre-recorded again, but trying to get that hunkered down for the 5th. So it'll be a pre-recorded thing, and then I think he'll just air it out like he normally does. And then, of course, with Paramount Tactical, and I would love to get with Lyle Culpepper and have him come back and be able to have Army back again, and Milk Bar, and just other great content creators out there, that we have not collabed with, just have the opportunity to collab with them and to get to know more of the people that are holding their foot on Candace's neck because, I'm like, I just can't be alone with this. The Tin Ashe and Tamira Neely. Like, I would just love to be able to have all of those fantastic content creators here. So, Natalie Biesner, I think, is a Beisner, I'm sorry, is also someone we're communicating with, trying to see if she's available. I've even reached out to A. Ron, who is an ex Scientologist. He got out of that cult to have him in the LLC. So we're excited about, the great opportunities that are in store for us here in the LLC, and we bless God for it. Amen. Y'all ready? We're gonna get on to it. When y'all can see it here, hit the phone. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Counter Offensive with Ryan Mauro, and I am Ryan Mauro, of course. I'm just posting the donation link right now on X. Let me just make sure that gets through because I think you're going to like what we have for you today, because you're really going to see how the information that we released last week about Candace Owens and her trip to Russia it's really not just about her, but it's a much longer story that's intertwined with all these other narratives and stuff. It'll make a great documentary movie one day. And I think that there's a lot of stuff that
just be clear. Ryan Mauro will be joining us July 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you guys have your notifications turned on so that you can get all of the notifications. The live streams have been scheduled for Ryan Mauro, Edie Marie, and Johnny Walker Dread. And so once you guys see those, make sure you do the drop down for all notifications, or there should be a button that says notify me, and you'll get notified when the live stream starts. Okay, sounds good. Let's get back to it.
Most of you are probably not going to know, and then those of you that do know the facts may not have actually put it together in the way that we are about to lay out. All right, so it looks like YouTube is working today. All right, good. So this is episode 2. So like I said during the first episode, I'm going through this in a little bit of a different way, not even as an investigator or a prosecutor or a reporter, as some of the better channels will do. I'm trying to be a little bit more unique because I looked at all the data points in regards to the Candace Owens story and even everything with Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk and everything that's been going on. And I realized that it only made sense from the perspective of an influence operation, because a prosecutor type case or a reporter type case just doesn't work because the standards are different. Not everything will be criminal. Not everything will be scandalous. Not every data point that coincides will be a smoking gun. And so if you're looking at an influence operation, all those behavioral patterns, all the lies, the omissions, all these type of things can be put in there when they otherwise wouldn't. And I think the result tells just a really fascinating story. Thank you, everyone, for your really nice comments last week. If any of you guys have ever done anything publicly, you usually get crapped on. Like, no matter what you do the best job of your life, and like 20% of the comments are going to be people just saying horrible things. And this is one of the very few times in my life that of the people who actually watched it and weren't like bots or anything like that, it was 100% positive. And that's when I was sick. Like, if you look back, there were, I think, 3 times I almost threw up. Like, literally, it looked like I was just coughing, but you can actually see I was about to. It was one of the most sick feelings I've ever had. I was telling Alex, the producer of the show, Alex Cuesta, who also has his own podcast that you should check out on YouTube. So his last name is Cuesta, Alex Cuesta. I was telling him it was like feeling car sick 10 times over. It was just unbelievable. To the point where there was part of me, I'm like, could I have been poisoned? But then I realized that I don't leave the house. So no, wasn't poisoned. All right, so let's get to some of the new information, some of the new context for you to understand the story. So we were talking about the scandal, the stuff that we found last week, but that's not really the story. A story is told in order, and so we're going to organize the chapters of the story according to how an influence operation works. What I did was I spent an enormous amount of time looking at U.S., British, Soviet, Russian influence operations, like the official texts on the phases and how you do them, specifically if you're recruiting somebody to be involved in them. So it's an influence operation that isn't just propaganda, but actually involves an unwitting asset or an actual asset who knows what they're doing and is working with that intelligence service. And I outlined for myself, I won't reveal them all, I think I got to 10 phases. I identified that if you synthesize all these dozens of texts, because everyone measures it differently and has different phases, that was the best result I could get to, and where I could overlap it all and incorporate all the information. And when I took that 10-phase influence operation model and I applied it to the story of Russia and the story of Candace Owens and the story of Charlie Kirk, it was remarkable how it lined up. And when you see that model, you'll understand how this is much more than just an amazing story in terms of a narrative, or even just about Russian influence operations in general. It really becomes a manual for understanding how these things work, and being able to identify them elsewhere in our civil society. You'll start to see things happening completely unrelated to Candace Owens, and you'll be thinking of these podcasts, and you'll say, I'm picking up some things I didn't pick up before. I'm seeing some correlations that are just like that. And so I'm hoping that this will really equip you guys to play a bigger role. And real quick, RyanMauro.com is where you can go if you want to donate to support my work, because right now I'm going through a little bit of a job transition. Everything's fine. It's just a little bit tough. But I don't know if I can actually keep doing the podcast like this because it takes up a lot of time, but I'd really like to. So I appreciate your support in doing that. If you are on YouTube and you want to do a super chat, you can also send a gift, I believe, on there. This is the first time I'm doing any of that, so hopefully I'm accurately articulating how that all works. Alex is going to help me. But those are options if you want to help support my work, not just the podcast. But if you look at RyanMauro.com, you'll see I do a lot of different things meant to help people and help the country from a national security standpoint. And you can help be a part of that by doing directly or doing a super chat or a gift or whatever. At the very least, share this on your own social media page. So the first phase of an influence operation is, I got a text from Alex. Hold on. We're live everywhere besides my personal Facebook page, but the other one on Facebook. Okay, all good. So the first phase of an influence operation, there's disagreement as to whether you include this first phase, but I'm going to include it. The first phase is laying out your strategy and your objective. So if you are Russia, China, Iran, or whoever, and you say I need to influence the United States, that's my adversary. Then you have to say, well, what's my strategy for fighting them? What's the strategy for an influence operation? And what's the objective? Those are the two things that you need. Now, if you watch the first episode of the podcast, Cracking the Candace Code, I went over this. There's basically 3 pillars that, broadly speaking, apply here in terms of what Russia's strategy is. And then we'll get into the individual objectives. And that's where Candace Owens and Turning Point will become more relevant. But the first is the Tsarist Christianity. That is where they basically believe in there being a prince, like a Putin-style czar, combination of church and state, an authoritarian version of Christianity that hates the West, is filled with anti-Semitism, and is pro-Islamic jihadist. That's their version of Christianity, and they want to ally with traditional Catholics. Thank you. I just saw that compliment. So they want to promote Tsarist Christianity as a fusion, an alliance between Orthodox Christians, but really by that they mean the Russian Orthodox Church, which is controlled by Putin and the intelligence service, and what's called traditional Catholics, like capital T traditional, a specific type, not a Catholic who's traditional, but actually has a title traditional Catholics who tend to be a little bit more friendly towards Russia, a little bit more inclined towards anti-Semitism, that type of thing. I'm talking about, again, so Catholics don't get offended. I'm talking about a specific type of Catholic that call themselves traditionalist Catholics. And most people who identify themselves say, oh, I'm a traditionalist, I'm a Catholic, aren't in league with them, and everybody knows that. But that's the title they use for themselves, so that's what I've got to go with. The second strategy is targeting civil society. So I'll go back to the quote that I very frequently show people. Let's see. Alex, let's see, is there a button I need to hit here? All right, you got it for me. All right, so Alexander Dugin, a name that most of you guys probably know. That's like Russia's MAGA targeter. He's been around since the 1990s. He calls himself a philosopher. He works with Russian intelligence, and he's promoted by Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Glenn Greenwald, a whole bunch of other people. But he's kind of the one that crafts the influence operation publicly towards American conservatives, Christians, MAGA. And so this is a quote that you'll see in most episodes. I'm going to read this quote, but it's important for you to understand. It is necessary to counteract U.S. Atlanticist geopolitics at all levels and in all regions of the world, trying to weaken, demoralize, deceive, and ultimately defeat the enemy, that's us, as much as possible. It is especially important to bring geopolitical turmoil into the U.S. domestic reality by encouraging all kinds of separatism, various ethnic, social, and racial conflicts, actively supporting all dissident movements of extremist, racist, and sectarian groups that destabilize internal political processes in the USA. At the same time, it makes sense to support isolationist tendencies in US politics. The theses of those, often right-wing Republican circles, that believe the U.S. should confine itself to its domestic problems. This state of affairs is highly advantageous to Russia, even if isolationism is carried out within the original Monroe Doctrine wording. If the U.S. limits its influence to two Americas, this does not mean that Eurasia, because he says this movement is the Eurasian movement. So he's referring to himself, Russia and its allies. This does not mean that Eurasia should give up on destabilizing the Latin American world by seeking to remove certain regions from U.S. control. All levels of geopolitical pressure on the U.S. must be engaged. So strategy one.
And this is somebody, Candace is like, oh yeah, he's such a good guy. He wants to destabilize the United States of America. And her dumb ass think that we want her here still. As opposed to her just moving to Russia and never returning. She's actually trying to aid in destabilizing the United States. You don't support something like that or any person that says things like that if you love your country. Candace does not love the United States of America. She doesn't even like the United States of America. No one is forcing her to be here. And the worst part is, it's like she's so desperate to get back into TPUSA, knowing that she has these ties to someone like an Alexander Dugin. Like they're so desperate to try to infiltrate TPUSA because they know TPUSA has this close connection to the president, to political figures, a large sway on Republican conservative movements. And she's trying to get back in it by saying she wants to be back on their payroll. Like they will hire her ass again. When you can't even show the respect that the CEO deserves by saying her last name adequately, you calling her by her maiden name because you're a scorned alien demon. I mean, why do we have to dignify Candace to be a human at this point? She's definitely a traitor. And wants people to believe that she deserves to be put back on payroll with TPUSA to help destabilize it. She knows damn well that won't happen. And now you're linking up with someone that wants to destabilize the United States of America. And she cool with that. If they don't like the U.S., they could just leave. Her, crackhead Mickey Mouse, the other one over here, just leave. No one's forcing you to live here. This is madness. But yet, people scared to sue her. Y'all need to start suing her even more. This is crazy.
We said it's czarist Christianity. And then strategy number 2 now is basically attacking civil society.
Hey, Riri.
And then number 3, and by attacking civil society, kill America is the goal. Just make it rip itself apart. And then the third strategy is pushing conspiracy theories because that gets people into a mindset where they become predisposed to be anti-establishment, anti-government. Because if you believe in conspiracy theories, you're fearful of those who have power. Can't be a conspiracy unless someone has all-encompassing power. That's kind of the common thread there. So you get people believing that and thinking that way. Then
the bear is supposed to be significant to Russia. Like, you know, the American eagle is our animal. Their animal is the bear. It did rustle up with George Farmer once upon a time.
It's easy to steer that in whatever direction, and they'll just naturally become anti whatever they think the elite or the powers are, and that'll be the U.S. government, the West. It just naturally leads there, and Russian fronts, according to the U.S. Treasury Department, have explicitly noticed that when you get people involved in conspiracy theorists, those types of voices, especially if they're American speaking to American audiences, also carry Russian disinformation pretty well. It's the same personality type. It's the same lack of logic. So it makes people much more susceptible to that. So those are the three strategies, and we'll call that phase one of an influence operation. You have to draw that part out. Tsarist Christianity and Orthodox, Russian Orthodox mixed with the traditional Catholics, smashing civil society, and then promoting conspiracy theory subculture, I guess you could call it. The phase that follows that is, let me see if there's anything else I want to, actually, let me bring this up real quick. Alex, you want to bring this up? This is just an article, if you guys want to reference it, at glennbeck.com that I wrote that lays out a lot of this. The Russian influence operations targeting Candace, Owens, and you. So that's a really long article, but it goes into the Tsarist Christianity. It goes into conspiracy theories. And Glenn Beck was impacted enough by it that he was actually tearing up on air, but he covered it for 3 days. So that made me very happy. Let me pull this up. So there is James Falk, I believe is his X account, but there is someone who I've worked with who created this graph that I can share on X. But basically, it's about the Strategic Culture Foundation that was formed by a former communist official, where he deliberately said and was recorded as he put together a team, saying that the way to continue the Soviet ideology is to rebirth it, and rebirth it as communism, nationalism, and Orthodox Christianity combined. And these different arrows are just showing how he leads the Strategic Culture Foundation. And then you can see this is how the conspiracy theory ecosystem works, and how they put their allies in these different spots. So like Zero Hedge may not be a Russian front, but it acts as a conveyor belt. Same thing with InfoWars, Ron Paul Institute, I'm sorry to say. Unz Review, which is Buckley Carlson, Tucker Carlson's brother, mentioned, I think, 2 sources that you can really trust. And the Unz Review was one of them. And they are known for having Nazi writers. Not everyone's a Nazi, but they've included Nazis. And so, yeah, that's the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service operates this. The Strategic Culture Foundation is a front for it. So it's very, very direct. And these are just the platforms that they say, all right, well, these are eager recipients for our type of material and people that we can use. If you trace how the material goes, where it's printed and then where it shows up, that's that particular ecosystem, what it looks like. All right, so now let's talk about phase 2, or depending on how you look at it, phase 1, phase 2, whatever, of an influence operation. So you've got the strategy, and then you've got your objectives. The objectives will become a little bit more clear as I go through this. But the next phase is spotting and plausibility assessment. These are my terms from bringing together all the different sources, so I could aggregate everything. So the next phase is spotting and plausibility assessment. So if you're a foreign intelligence service, you have your strategy, you have your objectives, which we'll get more into, but then spotting and plausibility assessment. What that means is it could just be a Google search even. You say, all right, well, who are the movers and who are the likely people coming around the corner that are ascending that can influence things in the way that I want them to go? So people who have growing platforms or big platforms, people who are rising up in the political elite or already are political elites. It's basically making a giant spreadsheet of saying, who is our wish list of who to target? And then they look and see who fits the criteria based off of some things that I will show in just a minute. So they identify targets who can advance the specific campaign. So if it's Tsarist Christianity, they would look for like powerful priests, make a list of the top priests and pastors. And you just put all that together. And then you look at which ones you use, and they would categorize them basically and say, all right, well, what do they offer us? Do they influence public opinion? So VIPs, public figures, are a top target here. Access to VIPs, access to secrets, because it can be an influence operation and also espionage at the same time. Are they part of operational networks? So not just isolated. They prefer someone who socializes a lot, who you win them over, they introduce you to other people. So someone who's part of an organization, that would be a box that they would check. Whether they have decision-making power right now or are in the future will have decision-making power. And so that's kind of how they narrow down who they want to target. And it's a wide range of purposes. Let's see, public figures would be the first that come to mind when you're putting this together, because those are the first ones you come across. They're among the most useful for an influence campaign, and they're just the ones that would fill that Excel spreadsheet right away, the names that first come to mind. and you can evaluate them risk-free. So that's what's really appealing for public figures for an influence operation, because you can get a lot of information about public figures, especially if they have a podcast or something. You get to know their personality. They share a lot of personal details. It's just a great target. All this work that you normally have to do to target a private individual doesn't apply if it's a public figure, especially one who's out there talking a lot. If they have a very big personality, so you can easily identify how they stick out, what makes them unique. Then they rise up in priority in terms of who you want to pick out. Let's see. So then you make those lists, and then there's a list of catalysts. And catalysts mean things that you can exploit, things that you can do to accelerate or decelerate what they're doing. So it's not just shifting them in your direction, but you're also identifying how do I get them to do more of something? How do I get them to do less of something? How does this person tick? And if you can't figure that out, then you move on to another target. Again, there's a large target list, and this is all going to become relevant. You'll see why. They'll look for things like people who are disillusioned. So you have your list of possible targets, who's disillusioned and who is anti-establishment. They're going to be predisposed to the type of propaganda and outreach that is most successful with influence operations. They go to the top of the list. Identifiable personal vulnerabilities, financial distress, having a big ego, maybe not having a big ego, but needing recognition. Publicly or privately. They're just someone who needs encouragement. Someone who's upset because they have unmet expectations. Basically, overall, is the person exceptionally upset about something, or do they exceptionally want something? So are they exceptionally upset about something? That's someone you can leverage. Or do they want something more than the common person would want something? All right, so then those people would stick out. Then the Foreign Intelligence Service that's doing a survey would ask themselves, all right, of those targets, and they'll narrow it down further. I'll get to that in a minute. But the key question as they're going through this, they're going to be saying, based on our assets that are in the field, based off of what our capabilities are, can we position ourselves to make their life better or worse? Because it doesn't matter how desirable a target is if you're not positioned to actually do that. So do we have things that we can offer them to improve their lives? Do we have ways of making their lives worse? Ideally, you have both. Can that person be manipulated without the activity gathering the attention of intelligence agencies or law enforcement? That's a big one. This is like one of the top ones, because you want everything that you do to be as much as possible legal, inconspicuous, not to have too many anomalies. You don't want law enforcement sniffing around, even if what you're doing is legal and you won't get prosecuted, because these operations are an investment of resources, and you want your resources, your investment, to pay off. You want a return on your investment. So the preference is going to be for people who can be influenced legally and in ways that will not catch the attention of law enforcement. So they want an easy approach, someone you can approach very easily, ideally someone who's public, someone where they can come up with an approach that's safe, that's legal, barely noticeable. So somebody who's going to events a lot, someone who's interacting with people a lot. So they're constantly meeting new people. That would be the type of person that you would say, all right, that's somebody that we, put a check mark next to their name as they narrow down their lists. Now, after 2016, but even during 2016, the Russians, based off of the public available information that we have, if you look at the content of the bots, the trolls, the fake websites, the fake social media profiles, it's a lot that's been quantified, what's public, of what's been public. Most of it's going to be classified, but of what's public, you can actually look at proportionally how the Russians were targeting different elements of civil society. And from like 2016 to 2020, and even now, I mean, their primary target is Christian conservatives, Republicans, people involved in conservative causes. They're having the most success there, and there are even Soviet and Russian people that were saying long ago that we really need to go after the Republicans, because, I mean, Reagan was a Republican, right? So if you can neutralize the anti-communist sentiment coming from the right, then you're in a much better position. I mean, if you can make it so that Reagan was alive today, he would wake up to a nightmare. Then from the Russian perspective, the Soviet perspective, that's exactly what you want to do. And that quote from Dugin that I showed, I mean, he was saying what's unique about the right-wing Republican politics is the isolationist strain. That isn't there so much. It is there in some cases with the left. And so he's saying, all right, so that's what we have to leverage. And specifically in that 2016, but especially the year 2018, you're gonna see why I zeroed in on that. In 2018, their top target was Black people in general, Black people who vote for Democrats, Black people who are not voting, not politically active. And the objective was to get Black people who vote Democrat to not vote or to switch sides. And that's part of that is just for polarization. So one of the big things whenever you talk about this, they'll be like, the left and the right will go nuts on me depending on how I say this, but they're like, no, Russia backs the other side, but not mine. It's always the other person's fault. That's not really how the Russian mindset works with this stuff. It's not a matter of backing one side or the other. Maybe for an election, they have a little bit of a preference, but that is a subcomponent of the goal of polarization, promoting radicalism. Like if you have an anti-Russia candidate, you would think that they would oppose them. But if that candidate increases polarization and instability, they might actually favor that person. Even though on the face of it, you would say that that's not what they should be doing. And from the perspective of an influence operator, you're trying to influence both sides positively and negatively. You're trying to empower them and then also trying to weaken them simultaneously on both sides. They view our system as just one thing. So when we keep saying, oh, is Russia and China and Iran, do they favor the left or the right? It almost falls on deaf ears. They know what you mean, but it doesn't resonate when you look at how they talk about this stuff. Because to them, it's just one machine. It's like, which part of the assembly line are we attacking here? And it can change each day. Today it's a better day to support Democrats, a better day to support a third party, or maybe you divide it up, 75% going towards Republicans, 25% towards Democrats, and then you switch it. Like it's constantly being revised because our adversaries do not have principles like we do. The value that we have on consistency and honesty, and just the way that we look at things in the West is we fail to appreciate how unique that is. Not adversaries of the West don't think that way. A lot of cultures and countries maybe partially think that way, but not quite to our extent. It's not as big of a deal in other parts of the world to be inconsistent. It's like, oh, they flip-flop. It's not here. It's like, oh, you're a flip-flopper. You got to be consistent. Oh, is your idea consistent? And we really focus on it, and that's a unique thing.
I can say this because I'm glad he brought that up and how they targeted African Americans predominantly. They still do that. It's like they go into comment sections trying to incite some level of racism. If the idea is to try to destroy from within, and they know that race relations is still a hot topic in the United States, then they're going to keep weaponizing it until it's no longer effective. That's why the idea of race baiting off of, a child who lost his life to another kid is counterintuitive. Because now you have whole countries that see us as a nation, as an enemy that they want to destabilize. And they see we still make something. We're not seeing this as one child is in prison for 35 years, another child lost his life. We see this as, well, this black kid had to defend himself by bringing a knife to a school campus, and then the other one shoved him, and then he stabbed him in the chest. And he should not go to jail for it because he got shoved. When he lied about being jumped, beat up, surrounded. How does surrounding lead to someone being stabbed? I don't know. Forget the application of law. Remove, all logic out the way and just focus on color and race. That is the same recipe that you have hostile countries using to destabilize us from within. Sometimes there's a bigger nefarious game at play here. And we as Americans aid in that when we sit here and race bait on a situation where this child is not coming back. All of the hostility, the anger, and the angst is not going to bring Austin Metcalf back. But people think you're selling out. You're an Uncle Tom. Because you're saying, stop making this about race and make this about a matter of law. Carmelo Anthony committed a crime. Your opinion of that does not get him out of prison. was the finding of fact, law, and evidence that got him in prison. He committed a crime. He murdered someone. So you got a kid that's dead and a kid now in prison for 35 years. Race baiting that does not get Carmelo Anthony out of prison. But see, hostile countries are looking at this like, wow, they still on that? They still race baiting things. So why not just add to it? And then they hop into the live stream chat. You don't know who the hell is commenting and who you're talking to. And then they just kind of add more fuel to that fire. Let's light this on fire. Add the flames up. Let's hop into these live streams and stuff and keep making this about race so we can continue to destabilize the country. Get it to a point where everybody's fighting their head to head, butting heads with each other. If Russia can achieve the goal of getting U.S. citizens fighting and killing off one another without having to lift a finger, they will do that. The issue is we're not paying attention enough to recognize that's what they're trying to do. Of all ethnic groups to target in the U.S., why would Russia want to target black people? It should be a futile effort, but yet we have to stop race baiting situations that do not call for race to come into question. Because this is what's so irritating about it. It's a bigger picture that we need to be looking at here. If they can sit back and watch us destroy each other, in their mind, oh well, they don't care. And you have people like Candace taking her bum ass over there, probably telling them everything she knows. You can't make this up. Hey, Jim, how you doing, honey? Juju said that's why they tried to push that Trump is a white supremacist to cause division, and it didn't work. And now the left Democrat is using white supremacy since the right didn't fall for it. And they keep going after the idea of race relations. That's what they do. Attacking, targeting black people to stir up this racism, and knowing that, you know, people who are going to fall for it are going to fall for it. They still use the same tactics, the same ploy. That's why when I'm looking at the chat, as a content creator, I've been doing this, 6 good years, got 2 channels. When I'm looking at this chat, first thing I'm thinking is, okay, I have to be able to decipher based on the language used, whether this is a real person or a dumb bot. It could be a real person that got this cult mentality. It could just be a bot from anywhere around the world. So this is why I don't always respond to every little thing. And then you can tell it's a bot by the way they respond, by the way they spell. You can tell. But that's what they're doing. They're going to continue to do this. They're still targeting black people. They're still going after the idea of racism. They want us to destroy each other. And you got people like, you know, this Candace going over here. And then you get comments in my chat where they sit here and talk about, oh, you're being discriminatory towards another black woman. That I can tell when it's a dumb bot trying to incite something. It doesn't work with me because I ignore that bullshit. But I can tell because I see comments all the time. Why are you sitting here going after a black woman? Isn't that black on black crime? They just say stupid stuff. It's like, no, that's not. I'm going to keep my foot on her neck because she's an idiot and an alien and a demon. Who cares? It doesn't stop me from saying what I'm going to say. So when you all are going through these live streams now you know what to pay attention to. You all can see in the chat, you can see in the comment section where people are sitting here saying, I shouldn't be going after her because she's a black woman and I'm a black woman. Like that means anything to me. She doesn't pay my bills. I don't owe Candace a damn thing. And she knows that. Candace, I know you listening, you dumb heifer. I owe you nothing. But that's what they do. They come in and they try to incite that type of conversation by leaving them dumbass comments that don't work on me. It doesn't work over here. So what he's saying is what you all see in the chats in real time. Where these bots are working overtime to target anyone that's black, to try to incite some level of racist baiting conversation. How dare you are a black woman, go after Candace? She's a black woman. Yeah, I thought y'all were supposed to be looking out for each other. And you can tell when they say you all, because they're not black. I ignore that nonsense. So what Ryan is saying is on point, and I see it all the time in my chat. And all I say now is the dumbass Russian bots trying. They trying. Lord, they keep trying.
Then how the other side thinks. So in 2018, getting back to that point, the top target was black people, and then conservatives. If you look at the targeting priorities of what Russia was doing online, how they were, where they were putting their influence operators who actually got arrested, people got deported. That was the prioritization for 2018. Okay, so for those of you taking notes, one personal detail, there's a reason I'm pointing this comment out. One personal detail Owens has never shared is the name of the private equity firm she worked for in New York. So let's just put it this way. NDAs prevent me from saying everything. I'll leave it there. But moving on from that, so I described like who they're looking for, but now that's how they develop the list. And so say they have a list of targets, now they have to figure out who can they manipulate and how. So it's not just, oh, are we positioned to influence this person, make their life better or worse? We have that, but as a personality, who will be susceptible to that? Who would actually be responsive to that pressure? How do you identify them? And in the world of intelligence, there's long been this acronym called MICE, M-I-C-E. And there's been people that have expanded it and said that that's, obsolete now, but this MICE is kind of standard. And so that's a good model to use while understanding that it may not capture every single nuance, but MICE, it would be part of the process, and there's things you can add on to it, but the core of it will be MICE. So let me pull up a graphic for that. Ooh, let me see. Did I actually? Maybe I didn't. Oh, wait a minute. The most important one I might have forgot. Alex, if you can search MICE in the folder, see if we can find that. I might have done the thing where I assume it's so important. I assume I uploaded it, and then I actually didn't. But if not, it's not a big deal. I can still get by. So MICE. Here's what it stands for. MICE, M-I-C-E. The M is for money. You're identifying what someone is susceptible to as you're trying to figure out who you go after. Oh, I might have forgotten. I will read super chats later unless Alex tells me there's something I need to read right away. Donations, RyanMauro.com. If you want to get something tax deductible. I am starting something called the Dollar Challenge. Because I realized that in order to continue this podcast, because like I'm a bare bones type of guy, I live very minimally. I'm happiest that way. But it makes things like this a little bit difficult, especially right now I'm going through a transition job wise and income wise. And so if just a significant portion of people who see this donate $1, if you're watching this, you probably think you care about these issues. If you do, 99% of you guys can afford $1, especially if it's tax deductible, because that means you write off on your taxes. It's like 75 cents, right? Depending on how much money you make, what your tax rate is. So RyanMauro.com, I'm challenging everybody just donate at least $1. And believe it or not, if a significant percentage of people do it, then we're good to go. If you can give more, then that's even better. On YouTube, there's the option for gifts, and then there's super chats, like I said before, that I'll read later, or if Alex tells me to read one right away, then I will do that. But MICE, so MICE, M is money. So You look at someone and say, would they, not just are we, like I said before, positioned to make their life better or worse, but are they receptive to this? So M, money. Mice. So basically the way mice works is these are different variables, and the of MICE, the number of them that a target is influenced by, the higher likelihood of success you're going to have. The more intensely they're impacted by one of these letters in the acronym, the higher likelihood of your success is. So money. If they're looking around in 2018, because that's when our story is going to begin, they're going to say, does this person, obviously we're going to talk about Candace Owens, so let's just do that. In 2018, they'd be looking around, they'd say, all right, well, we are looking to influence Black people and conservatives. So who's a Black conservative that we need to influence? I mean, you would, right away, they would Google, a surprise, Russia does have Google. Like, you can say it's a 100% fact that Candace Owens would be on their radar immediately with those objectives. Immediately. There's no scenario where that's not true. So they definitely looked at her to the extent that we are going to look at her right now. This conversation we're having happened in Russia. We're acting it out. So at this point, they'd be saying, all right, so Candace Owens or whoever else, mice, M, money. Do they need money or do they want money? So you may not need it, but you may really want it because you're selfish. All right, well then that person should go up on our list. Do they need money? Goes up on the list. Now, if you look at the criticism of Candace for how she spent money at Blexit, I think you would see that she needed money based off of what she was doing at this time, 2018. She was not rich. She was, she was definitely not rich. She needed money. She also loved to spend money and have money, if Blexit is any indication. And even today, I mean, she asked people for donations to pay for her security when she has like dozens of millions of dollars, it's believed. Like, but you ask for donations from people, like, so
a whole billionaire.
Money is a factor for her. At this point in time, 2018, she needs it and she really loves it. So that'll work. The I for ideology is either you are an unwitting agent or I'm getting distracted because I really want to find the mice thing on here. Actually, you know what? I know what to do. 1 second, guys.
She can have all the money. This girl spent over $553,000 on security detail. And it makes you wonder, who are these people in this security detail? Are they real security? Because you spent $500,000 in 1 year on security detail based on the tax filings. That's stupid money. You can't make this up. Like, did they not get a day off or something? You had them at home as well? Like, here's the thing. George Farmer's parents are billionaires. So why would she need to expense out security detail from money coming in for Blexit when she has security either way? Candace has security either way. So for you to put down an expense of over $500,000 for the security detail that you have in general and use this money from Blexit that's supposed to be going towards Black communities becoming conservative and stuff that she didn't even damn do. It is astounding how stupid she is when it comes to money. It's astounding. Like, I don't expect her to have bills like that because everything she has, she should just buy it out. She doesn't pay rent well. Like, we all seen that in court documents where she went 7 months and didn't pay rent because she allowed black mold to grow. And then her dumb ass didn't even go to the trial hearing. Lord. But that's what we're dealing with. Candace, oh, you such a clown. You can't make this stuff up. $553,000 on security.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, Jim. He begging for attention. Human, my mom's not in the mood. It's Sunday.
I'm just downloading it now. It's kind of this is.
You calling people snowflakes, honey. It's Sunday. We blessing God today. We're not doing this. Don't get on my mom's nerve. People call us somebody snowflake because you think somebody's supposed to read your comments. Don't nobody have to read your comments. What's wrong with you? I have the right to express myself, Lady Luck. Yeah, we have the right to not read that BS. What's wrong with you? You'll live. You'll be all right. You'll get over it. If my mom have to time you out, then you'll just go to another chat and then try again. Whatever.
Important enough that it's worth me doing this.
You make this stuff up.
All right. Alex, if you want to pull that up on my screen.
He calling me a snowflake. Taboo.
Let's see. Actually, let me see if. Are you guys able to see it right now? Mice, M-I-C-E, the PowerPoint?
Not yet, Ryan. Share your screen, honey.
Okay, I'm not getting any comments. Alex?
I say no play.
Hey, Ryan, you don't have it up yet on the share
I
screen.
don't have it
Throw
up.
it up there. Let me know and I'll.
I have it in.
He called me a
I put it in my
snowflake.
downloads. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, hold on a second.
Taboo. Oh man.
Jumping on to give a shout out to X Mama Bear 4 for the gift. She sent a nice gift to us.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
That helps so much.
Yes.
It's one of the things that I know everybody says that, but I wish you guys knew, like, it's definitely not going to beer. I can tell you that. All right. So is this up now, Mice? Otherwise, I put it in the folder, Alex.
The other thing is you have to share the folder with me, Ryan. You didn't share it with me.
I didn't share the folder with you.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes. 3 at this time in 2018 when the story.
Okay, here we go. He shares.
But if they have an absent ideology, if their ideology is moldable, if they're a fellow traveler, meaning they don't exactly share your ideology, but to what extent that they have one, your allies, or a useful idiot, someone that you can just kind of feed them stuff, and they'll go along with it, and not a critical thinker, and for whatever reason
that's like Candace all the way. Y'all remember when Cold-Blooded Christian was able to get her on the phone? Oh man, that was just so epic. Candace, he played you like a fiddle. He catfished her. Boy, that had to be the greatest live stream ever. When we get to hear the video recordings of Cold-Blooded Christian catfishing Candace. She's a useful idiot. The worst thing is that she claims to be smart, and she's not. She's not smart enough to be able to kind of navigate her way around the KGB. Candace isn't smart enough to do that. She can barely speak English. It's so embarrassing.
they like your content and they'll run with it. So if someone qualifies under ideology, well, let's take a look at Candace's history at this time in 2018 when the story begins. She launched the Red Pill Black website and YouTube channel in September 2017.
Oh man!
So in terms of political activism, she's very, very, very new to the conservative movement, and it happened because of a scandal she got into, and people started harassing her. It wasn't because she read a book and had some intellectual quest. It was then, just like you see now, her views are influenced by who she dislikes, who hurt her. Just like the anti-Semitism, it went sky high. Why? Because she started beefing with Ben Shapiro. He hurt her, and so Daily Wire lets her go, and then it goes sky high. Like that's a common thing with her. And you better believe that when the Russians at this point, 2018, are doing the mice thing to analyze her, they're going to see that. They're going to say, all right, well, she's a baby political activist who just switched because of a scandal, not because of an actual core ideology, and is rapidly rising in the ranks, even though she doesn't really know what she believes. She knows what rhetoric works, what feels good, but she doesn't actually know what she believes. So that's absent and moldable. And also, as we'll see, a fellow traveler and a useful idiot, basically all at once in that one lovely package.
Oh, DL Henderson wants some attention. All right. Candace said that she was the number one podcaster on Earth, on the whole planet, out of the entirety of the planet Earth. She said, "I'm number one podcaster. I'm number one." Uh, when did Erica do that? Erica's not concerned about ratings. No, Candace said, "I'm number one podcaster on the planet." Nope, what said that? But her. She said, "Hey, yeah, if you guys want to contribute, like I forget to say ways to contribute to the channel. Scrolling below with the Cash App, $ Lady Luck Club LLC. I also have Zelle at the same Lady Luck Club LLC at yahoo.com. And then sending supers, memberships, always to financially support the channel. And when I say that, boy, the candy asses get mad as hell, but they will give Candace, someone who's married to a billionaire, all of their rent money. Because she can afford attorneys. She's just stupid and keeps putting herself in situations to where she needs attorneys. No one told Candace to do all this defamation, leading to people to have to sue her. She's doing that all on her own. She could just talk about anything else, but she chooses to harass and stalk Erica Kirk. And now she is trying to sear in even the more by using her maiden name. Erica Kirk has not stunned her. And when she sues her, she will sue her. And her complaint will be based on laws violated and how she should be held legally liable. Especially when you say you have direct sources and contacts living in her building. Yeah, you should be sued. Stalking is a felony. See, you don't want the punishments for your words and actions. But somehow that seems to go out the window, though. When Candace is the one coming off like she does this for clicks, views, likes, subs, and money. And when her dumb ass cult members and bots come in my chat and remind me of that, why get upset? Clearly, she does this for clicks, views, likes, subs, and money. The bots and the cult members say that all the time. In all my videos, comment sections, you're going to find at least one comment from one of these morons that say that. It never fails. They're proving my point. Candace has more views than you because she does this for views. Candace makes more money than you because she does this for money. She will lie for money. We have a watch party. God forbid if I say, "Yay, if you guys can't hit my Cash App, do a $1 challenge for that." Supers are always appreciated. Where's my $7,000 check? Now the club asking for money. Candace is a billionaire asking for money. And she's doing it because she put herself in situations to be sued. And she wants all her little good cult members to pay for it. You'll be paying for her judgments as well. Now, thanks to your buddies, the cult members and the dumb bots that are constantly leaving comments, I have plenty of evidence to prove that all they do is go out and brag on her behalf about being number one podcaster on planet Earth, getting all these views, subs, clicks, and making all this money. That's why she does it. If this was not lucrative, Candace would have talked about something else. She's the dumb demon that refuses to read a book. That's not our fault. Candace could read a book. I recommended Dr. Seuss several times. Let her demonic ass sell it. She's number one on the planet. Number one alien. With a podcast on planet Earth. Doing this for clicks, subs, likes, and money. Like she already beat Joe Rogan. Okay. And the bots and the cult members remind us of that all the time, do they not? So they tell on her and reaffirm what we've been saying, what I say. They're actually proving my point, and they are too stupid to realize we're actually proving Lady Club's point when we constantly say she gets all these views and subs and all these people in her live stream. Yeah, that's why she does it. So she can get 500,000 people in her live stream for her pre-recorded video. Duh, you're proving my point. Thank you. Because they just, when you don't understand the English language, I guess points go over their head. I don't even get upset with it. All I'm gonna do is use their comments against them. So D.L. Henderson, you can easily go through my other live streams and my comment sections, and you will see that the candy asses and the dumb bots constantly prove my point. They prove me right. Candace is too stupid to say, stop telling on me. But y'all please stop going around talking about all this money. No, she's an idiot. Yeah, you can make this up. What's going on, Zowie? How you doing? Stargaze, I see you up in here. Nikki for Freedom up in here, y'all. Oh, we about to have some fun. Y'all, sometimes you gotta the dumb trolls. They bless their heart, they try. Texas Mother Bird, I see you up in here. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's get back to it.
C, coercion or compromise. This one, in the case of Candace Owens, maybe there's something there, maybe not. And what that can be is blackmail, is what people think of. It could also be dependency. So I can coerce you just because you're dependent upon me. Maybe I'm your boss. I'm a big donor. There's something I give you that you need. I might not be threatening you or anything directly, but there's dependency. That is coercion. The potential for coercion is there. Make someone compromise their values, it's there. Blackmail, that's the classic one. And threat potential, just meaning you have assets near the person or some ability to threaten them if you wanted to. You don't have to actually do it, but it's enough that that person knows that whoever is on your side with the influence operation, that person, if they wanted to, could hurt them in some way. And then the last one is ego and excitement. That would be unfulfilled expectations, a lack of self-fulfillment, their identity, like what makes them feel good about themselves. So it's not just, are you successful according to the world's criteria? Are they successful according to what they want? What are they becoming like their heroes in their life? Or are they not? Are they resentful because they feel that they've done the work necessary to get somewhere and they're not there? And there's someone that they can blame either as a scapegoat, or maybe they actually have a legitimate reason to blame someone else. Restlessness. Someone who's really ambitious might be restless because they want more and more and more. And that can be a very good thing, but restlessness is something that they would look for. And psychological vulnerabilities, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're crazy or that you're a bad person or anything like that. It's just everybody has weak points, right? You just look at behavioral patterns and if these are identifiable, especially if it's a public figure, and at this point in the process, the influence operators can identify that without having to get to know you. They just see it on the screen. Then, all right, you're going up the list. So I think we could say, based off of everything I've said so far, that in 2018, top target was black people. Second was conservatives. So black conservatives would be at the top. And then as they're going through this, mice, she would fit a lot of this criteria. When really you only need one. Like someone could have just one of those four things and become a spy, become part of an influence operation without realizing it. They get recruited in some way. These are the drivers. And here we have, definitely money, ideology, ego, excitement with her. Coercion and compromise. We'll get into that, but blackmail, I'm not seeing smoking gun proof of. All right, so let me pull out of this screen. And go back to Google Drive. So when the Russians at this point, 2018, are surveying Candace Owens, as we know that they did, because, of course, she would be at the top of the list. What are some things that they would notice? Let's see. I guess we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. as part of the spotting process. So here's what would pull up on their screen. So you can act this out in your mind. First would be they would find on her YouTube channel this satire that she did. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that this is pro-Russia propaganda, but if you're looking for a starting point, this is a good starting point what I'm about to show you. So this is some satire she did.
Are you or a loved one suffering from paranoia?
Hello?
Do thoughts of collusion make it nearly impossible for you to deal with the outside world?
Jenny! Jennifer!
Paranoia is real. Sovieta can help.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, and Sovieta gave me my life back.
Sovieta is a one-a-day
I don't know why I have multiple of these going. But anyway, so she's mocking the Russia collusion stuff, which a lot of people did, and there's merit to that. I tend to, when it comes to that period of time, I tend to think the truth is in the middle a little bit there, where some people just make it sound as if the Russians were up to nothing and having no success, and then other people are making it sound like Donald Trump was like a KGB spy. There is a middle ground, people, in there. There's a very big middle ground there. But what they would see is if you're surveying the field and you're looking at Candace.
Oh, why you stop playing it? That was so funny. Oh no, okay, he played some other stuff. Yeah, that was hilarious, wasn't it?
And this is a possible target. You would say, all right, so she's already predisposed to mocking the idea of Russian influence.
God.
And Laura Loomer was amazingly honest about this on X. I really commend her for this, where she was saying, like, well, that's when it started for her, where she became blind to Russian propaganda. Because you would just hear Russia influence, and a lot of people would come predisposed to rejecting it, even identifying with Russia a little bit. And that's where a lot of the anti-Ukraine stuff happened, because in their mind, if you're hyper-political, oh, Ukraine, Democrat. Russia, well, I guess it's Republican. And because they want to downplay the significance of the Russian threat because that's being used as a political weapon at the time. You know, that's why I say political tribalism poisons everything. It does. That's a good example of it. So the Russians would see that satire that Candace did. They would Google, like I said. So here's an example. Here's an article that would definitely show up because it's June 2018. How Candace Owens suddenly became the loudest voice on the far right.
Quick share again because you stopped sharing. You got to share it again real quick.
All right.
We're working out the kinks, people. We appreciate you guys. Sorry. But if you wait with us, the information will be worth it. Ryan's a genius. Don't forget that.
I'm smart in some ways, and then others not so much. Okay, so you guys can see this now, I assume, right? So June 2018, this would pop right up because you would assume the Russian influence operators would Google, and they would see how Candace Owens suddenly became the loudest voice on the far right. Can Trump's new favorite pundit bring young and minority voters to the Republican Party? So your top target's black people. The second one is conservatives, close behind that. Her name pops up. You Google it and you see this. I mean, is she going to get the full brunt of your attention in 2018? Hell yes. Hell yes. There's no scenario where that does not happen. All right. Now, what else? What would the Russians do? They would look at her old blog. And this is what they would see. Very few people know about this. So I'm about to show you guys. Oh, in March 2015, in our story, it's 2018, but only 3 years ago, she was saying, my God, what was she saying? That the Constitution needs to evolve. And then later on, further down, she says, the Constitution where it belongs, in a museum. So in 2015, she goes from saying the Constitution belongs in a museum to then in 2017, she's a conservative. And that type of, and we're supposed to believe that happened very quickly and authentically. I think the Russians would see that, and what they would say is Meist ideology. It means the ideology is absent and it's moldable. And to what extent she has an ideology, it fits what they're targeting. I added this just so that you guys can see the cycle here. This is something that she said more recently in Russia to the Russian media. So 2015, she's like, all right, well, the Constitution belongs in a museum. And then here, she is talking about how Americans avoid learning about history because if they look at their own history, the history of the world, deeper than 250 years, it can lead to unpredictable consequences because we're just a baby. So she's down talking us, you know? So she said, so that's very similar language of saying, oh, well, the Constitution is outdated. It's not up to snuff intellectually. It's immature, essentially. Now, what else would they say? Because they would definitely look at our blog. If we're looking at it now, they would look at it in 2018. All right. Here's something else that they would say. Diary of an Anorexic. And I'm not ragging on her for any of this, by the way. I like that she's been public about this. But this is stuff that Russia would say. Her talking about abusing Xanax. Her talking about how she would abuse Adderall.
Candace, you abuse a lot of drugs.
Here's another. This is in 2019, but it's still relevant because this is about her rise. Candace Owens is the new face of Black conservatism. So the two things they're looking at, they're Tartari. I mean, of course, she would be the first person that they would look at. That's a fact at this point.
Let me
see if there's anything else. No. So the Russians wouldn't even have to know necessarily how to leverage this. They just need it present. These are vulnerabilities that they could exploit later. You don't have to use it right away. Now, here's something that she said about herself.
Hey, Felix.
That's very telling because the psychological profilers, the Russian intelligence puts a lot more emphasis on psychology. They call it a science, actually. Disinformation, influence operators, they call it a science. We don't do that in the U.S. They view people as a robot. You know, you just have to figure out how it works. So here's what she's talking about. She was like before she became a conservative and became Christian, which would be at this point in time in 2018, like basically yesterday.
Can't hear, buddy.
We don't have any sound on our end, Ryan. Hey, Ryan, we don't have any sound.
Uh-oh.
Alex, I hear you saying something there.
We didn't have any. I didn't hear anything on my end.
You didn't hear anything. Okay, so that's the video where she is. I don't know if we'll hear it if you could pull it up on your end, but it's she's basically describing how she was a bad person, how she was mean. She's describing what she's like.
A bad person,
basically. And so.
Yeah, this is still bad.
These are the type of things that they will, you know, the Russians would see. We're acting it out ourselves right now. Let's see what else I got here. Strategy, spotting.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Oh, I have this quote that I want to show you guys. You know, it's awkward. I hate talking about myself and like bragging, but people told me that particularly when it comes to this topic, I need to show my credentials because there's so many people podcasting that it's hard to know like who is just a good podcaster, but they're learning on the fly than people who have actually studied it. So the highest Soviet bloc intelligence officer to defect to the West gave me an endorsement for my website saying the precocious teenager I once knew is now an authoritative force in the field of counterterrorism and blah, 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 blah. Basically, he's just saying I was one of the very few analysts to understand Russian disinformation operations, how they were going after pro-American Christianity. He gave me this endorsement a long time before Russian influence operations like we're talking about today became a thing. I mean, that's why he gave me the endorsement. But there it is. He's saying, oh, such an understanding of the KGB science of disinformation allows one to transform night into day. That is what I'm trying to do with this podcast, trying to transform night into daytime.
I have the video on my end if you want to.
Yeah, let's play that video.
Let me see if I can throw it up here. Boom, boom. All right. Let me pop myself up. Move that. And that. All right.
From and I was a bad person. I don't know how to say it. I just was a really bad person, a person that I'm not proud of. And I didn't treat people well. I wasn't true to my word. And I was mean. And that meanness came from an anger, a deep-seated anger. And then
you tell me.
Okay, so these are all those are personality features I'm sure the psychological profiles would notice. So we're acting out what the Russians did. Now, am I speculating as to the Russians would say, Candace Owens, yes, who is she talking with? It might have been Dr. Phil. It was a talk show like that, something like that. But am I speculating?
Going back, it was on the Blaze.
Oh, it was on Blaze. Okay.
Yeah.
So am I speculating, just doing analysis here? Not really. I'm acting it out with you guys so you can see how it's played out in 2018. Now, we know what the outcome of that assessment was. Very few people know this. So let's see if I got this here. So Brexit gets announced in 2018, October 2018. And what happens instantly? Immediately, the Russian intelligence social media networks start promoting it. Here's an excerpt from an article. Turns out that approximately 40,000 or 16% of the Brexit tweets we collected came from accounts that previously pushed Kremlin propaganda in one of two key Russian disinformation campaigns. One attempting to exonerate the Syrian government in a deadly chemical weapons attack. Another targeting, hey, think about this, guys. Another targeting last year's presidential election in France in support of a failed 11th hour intervention by Russia's GRU, its military intelligence agency. Here's another thing. Russian propaganda veterans pushed Candace Owens' Brexit campaign, November 2nd, 2018. Tens of thousands of tweets came from Russian-controlled accounts. So when you see that she is being promoted now by RT, we can go back to me. I'm not sure how to bring this. When you see today she's being promoted by RT and the state media outlets, that began in 2018, guys. Only now, what you're seeing now is a later phase in how an influence operation goes, where it becomes more overt. This is when it, according to the phase of an influence operation, this is what's supposed to happen, and it's happening in 2018. So she's on the radar. We acted out exactly what the Russians would see as they're evaluating her, and then you see Brexit gets announced, and instantly, they use their proven disinformation and promotional social media accounts to back her. Very interesting. And one of the networks, and I have to think, even though I don't know how, this has something to do with why she chose, of all conspiracy theories to get involved in, the Brigitte Macron conspiracy theory, because like that's just sort of a coincidence that the Russian networks that boost people in 2018, the networks that boost people also were involved in attacking the Macrons. That same exact network, of all the networks, the specific one used to influence France is used to boost her in 2018. And then years later, of all the conspiracy theories she decides to pick up, it's the Macron, the French again, the same target as those same bots that again promote her, like from the same agency anyway, that again promotes her. Too much is lining up there. I don't know how that played out or to what degree she was aware that even was her decision, but that's a remarkable coincidence that the same online network used by Russia to interfere with France in 2018 is used to boost Candace Owens, and then several years later it comes back for full circle again like that, and she's involved in attacking the Macrons again in a way that is at least aligned with the Russians. That's pretty remarkable. So we know the outcome of the assessment that we just played out. They decided that she was someone that they needed to influence, someone that they needed to promote. Oh, by the way, polarization. Remember I said one of the strategies? So strategy would be promoting polarization, getting Americans to be more hateful, not be able to have good conversations, not intellectual, constructive conversations, to undermine our civil society. You know, that's one of the goals. They're also trying to influence Black conservatives at this time. Definitely come across Candace Owens. With that objective in mind, if they're looking at Candace Owens' rhetoric and their objective of dumbing down and making American civil society toxic, I mean, now she's an A++, right? Like before it was an A, it could be A+. Now it's A++. It's like, oh, and she's a good messenger. And she says things that riles up people and inhibits constructive conversations because she gets people mad. They get mad at her and everybody's screaming. I mean, this is just, of course, they would say that Candace is who we got to focus on. Absolutely. 2018, that would be their determination. Now, something else happens in 2018. There is a man named John Mappin, who some of you may have heard of. He's a big figure in the Church of Scientology, very, very rich, and very well connected to Russia. And Alexander Dugin. Now, you might be thinking the Church of Scientology, that doesn't really fit an influence operation.
Why won't John Mappin leave the United States of America alone? Just leave us alone. You don't live over here. He actually thinks that people care about what he believes or how he feels. We don't give a damn. John Mappin could leave the entirety of the United States alone. He's constantly trying to bolster up Candace. He's the biggest simp that she has. His wife should be embarrassed. Like, how dare you sit here and simp for this girl? Aren't you my husband? What do you mean? The way he come up, it's like you treat Candace like they married. And yet and still, it's so funny how, you don't hear about her own parents supporting her. They say nothing. Where's her mom and dad at? I mean, you don't hear her parents say diddly. They don't support anything. They don't comment on nothing. They just nothing. It's nothing. Craziness. The one relative that came out called her a liar. Like, I don't know where she got that from. She was put out the house at 14. But Candace lies about her own background. It's like one thing that she has in common with the Russians, but they'll lie and not give two shits at all. They will just keep living. No conscience about any of that. I just don't understand why she won't stay her behind over there. Just stay over there. Don't come back. Get out of our country.
Well, here's something most of you guys don't know about. If you can see it on my screen now. Operation Snow White. The Church of Scientology isn't just a cult or an organization or arguably a criminal organization, a nonprofit. It's not just that. It's an intelligence agency. It wasn't a foreign government that did the biggest infiltration and sabotage of the U.S. government ever done. It was the Church of Scientology in the 70s. So it sounds like that would be an odd fit for Russia to say, oh, is there someone affiliated with Scientology that we can use or work through them or however that was established?
Candace, is John Mappin your baby daddy? That might be Phyllis. While George was out, fishing for mermaids in Russia. Maybe John Mappin got a late night hookup. Either his or Andrew Tate's baby. Lord knows she was hanging out with Andrew Tate pretty hard. Didn't he go out there to Italy with her? That might be George Farmer's thing. Yeah, whatever. It would be funny if it was Nick Fuentes, baby. Oh, man. The idea is like, George don't really like her like that. Because he faking gay and all. And they want people to believe they out here procreating happily. She mad as hell about this pregnancy. Yeah, I have a feeling she's going to try to name this baby Charlie Kirk Farmer. Can't make this up.
No, it's actually right on. It's right on board. You team up with them or someone within Scientology that's high up. And I mean, look at that. They installed 5,000 covert agents in the 70s. That's insane.
Wow.
So if you team up with them and you exploit them, you get not just a person, not just a position of influence, you get an entire intelligence service that has absolutely no moral restraints. If you look at historically what they have done. All right, so they have something called the Guardian's Office. That's what I wanted to show. So if you guys look on Wikipedia, Operation Snow White and Guardian's Office, you'll see the different intelligence operations that the Church of Scientology has done. It'll blow your mind. So John Mappin is a senior figure in London that involved with them. He's also big in.
Now y'all see why we have Scientology Sunday. Man, listen. I'm very intentional in what I do. Now y'all understand why we have Scientology Sunday. No, their roots go deep. They're a cult now, but they everywhere. And they're annoying. All they Thetans. But they look how they connect themselves to Russia. And then try to take over U.S. cities. But then infiltrate our government in an effort to become tax exempt. So it's like they bullied the U.S. government to let them be tax exempt. And somehow our U.S. government was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and fall for this nonsense. As opposed to whooping their ass. No. Why? We don't owe them a tax exemption. They will probably get the hell on if they start getting taxed. But the infiltration in our government was to have information that they know. If you all don't give us our tax exemption, we're going to release this information we infiltrated your government to get. Because Russia would love to have this. They probably already have it, whatever. But you see how these dumbass coats should not have the power they have. They infiltrated the U.S. government to get information, to be able to use it to their advantage, to get a tax exemption. Because they don't want to pay taxes in our country and add to our economy. The audacity. That's Operation Snow White. Amongst other things. That's the premise of it.
In QAnon. And he says, weird Scientology type things. Raised a flag bearing a large Q over the hotel that he owned. And this is something you're going to see again and again. And it's not just about him. You'll see this type of thinking with Candace over the years. Mappin says, I knew that certain things were going to occur in the next 12 months.
Ciao.
Q was going to enter the mainstream narrative. And he says that about like everything of significance. Trump wins. He goes, I predicted it. I have a special algorithm to analyze footage of the candidates. I analyze footage of Trump descending the escalator. And somehow analyzing that video gave him the mathematical key to know the future and to predict the election. Not based off of voter turnout or anything like that, but his special algorithm. Now, what else do we know about Mappin?
Mackenzie, it's something else.
Okay, this from his bio. Super, super, super rich. But openly, an influence operative. Help to lobby. What's a lobbyist? An influence operative. And who's he influencing for? The highest levels in the US, the UK, China, and the CIS. That's the former Soviet Union. That means Russia. Openly, right there in his bio.
Ooh, child.
His wife, who speaks Russian. And depending on which bio you believe, or maybe there's a way to reconcile them, she was born in Kazakhstan, former Soviet.
Wow, man, this is why, man, I'm like, why is John Mappin even commenting? Like no one should care how he feels. This dude got it in the actual description, his bio, about him working and lobbying for the KGB. But if you notice, he lives in the UK. Unless he's moved recently, he's in the UK. He's not living or residing in the US. Hopefully he keeps his bum ass over there.
Republic, grew up there and in Russia.
Child.
And Camelot Castle is what they own in London. She's just bragging about her family's history in the Soviet Union and in Russia, how she's part of like the elite class there. How Russia is today a testimony to the work and the powerful philosophy that we as a family have maintained and continue to forward. She's talking about how her grandfather was one of a very affluent part of the elite Soviet Union. My grandfather was a senior Soviet official, contacts all over the world and right across Soviet Russia. So not really hidden. I don't think he would even deny that he's so Russia connected. And we can come back to me for a moment. Some more stuff about him before I get into why it is relevant in 2018. So him and his wife, and there's questions about their story, by the way, about their bio and stuff, but the Russia stuff is solid. He's an open admirer and associate of Alexander Dugin. He says that Dugin is the most advanced geopolitical thinker right now of all time. He has his own channel where he interviews Dugin. That's the guy with the quote that I read earlier, the Russian influence agent that was saying to stir up the extremes, empower the extremes within American society. He's interviewed him multiple times. He promoted an article by Dugin where Dugin was predicting a second American Civil War. Mappin is also an accused fraudster. He was successfully sued in 2002. The judge concluded that Mappin was, quote, a party to a scam designed to extract money, unquote, from someone to invest in a Hollywood movie project that didn't actually exist. So that's 2002. And so he may actually be like the spotter for the Russians because he's so active. I don't know if that means you're like at what point do you become an agent versus a partner? I don't know, but he's very, very well connected at the, as he says, the highest levels of the Russian government. ideologically, he's there. He's well connected with all the elites, money. I mean, he would be a very good spotter. And as we get to, you're going to see that he plays that role. When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, he declared his solidarity with the Russian bear. He said that the invasion is a gift for the freedom of the world. He attends private events in the Russian ambassador's personal home. And by the way, because of the Tsar's Christianity, I forgot to mention this. He also makes it sound like he's this big Christian. I think he might genuinely believe he is. In Scientology, and this smooths out the contradiction some of you might be thinking about, they believe you can be a Scientologist and a member of other religions simultaneously. So you can be a Scientologist and a Christian just as much, according to their way of thinking. There's actually a quote from Mappin from X where he says something like, he wants to be the first, what do you say? The first Scientologist, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist. Because he believes you can take more than one and fuse them together. So that's how he's able to play his different roles. So being in the Church of Scientology actually, at first you wouldn't think it. You say that's kind of an oddball thing. Like it fits right in. It opens up a lot of doors. A lot of the stuff about having like special powers and like a lot of that Scientology type language that you now see Candace presumably getting from Mappin, but maybe not. But I mean, it's very similar. Mappin now claims, just like Candace does, that Charlie Kirk appears to him in spirit form.
What?
And he also claims that Charlie secretly practiced Scientology.
Stop it.
I'm sure.
Ooh, that's a bold-faced lie from the pit of hell, John Mappin. Why are they doing this? And you know what's so crazy? John Mappin is a punk ass because he didn't say any of this while Charlie Kirk was alive. So you wait till this man is assassinated to sit here and say he's appearing to you in visions and dreams, and that he was secretly practicing Scientology. Bet you many dollars, like 7,000 of them. John Mappin didn't say that while Charlie Kirk was alive, though. I don't think Charlie Kirk cared for Scientologists or John Mappin. Why are they sitting here saying that this man was doing stuff he was not doing? It's so dumb. It's like me saying Charlie Kirk, was becoming a vegan. He stopped eating chicken and oxtails and brisket. Now he was just eating collard greens and rice. What the? This is random things that say he was no longer doing. And they wait till he's dead and gone and can't defend himself to say all this BS. I hope John Mappin gets named as a co-defendant. He's such an idiot.
If you don't know, Charlie, I have a thing or two to say about that. Let me see if I got that video. Oh yeah, we can go back to.
Child, you can't make this stuff up. I can't believe he's idiot going around saying this.
If you want to pull this up, Alex, Mappin video claiming Charlie practiced Scientology.
Oh, he's so full of it. John Mappin, you full of shit.
Any luck?
Wait till this man daddy gonna lie on him like this. What evidence did he have on it?
But on many occasions, he credited the philosophy of L. Ron Hubbard with helping him in extraordinary situations. When he was attacked in America, there was what was called the Groyper movement, which was a far-right movement that was wanted to annihilate Turning Point.
Right.
And, they were very extreme anti-Semitic, really, group. And Charlie used Scientology to defend Turning Point against that movement.
When?
And I have it all well documented. So, no, he used it extensively and appreciated it deeply. But that didn't, that didn't conflict with anything that he believed or his faith in Christianity.
All right.
Boy, you can't make this stuff
now
up.
That Charlie's no longer with us, you can say a lot of things about what he believed and did, but so.
Yeah, but he's not, exactly. He's not bold enough to say this stuff while Charlie Kirk was alive. I think Charlie Kirk would have walked up to John Mappin and knocked his ass out. You can't make this up. Why are you waiting until this man is dead and go out to sit here and make up all these dumb lies about him? Oh, yeah, he turned to the Thetans that came out of the volcano, from Xenu. Our boy, girl, warrior, princess, God that we admire. It's an alien. And he turned to those Thetans and did all these audits so that, you know, he can help cleanse out TPUSA. Like, what is wrong with this idiot? Why are you forcing your BS cult nonsense on a man who can't even defend himself now? What would make John Mapping think that Charlie Kirk would even dabble in Scientology? Where's his evidence on this? Because you say stuff like that, you need proof. You can't say, well, it was just a private conversation he and I had. I don't care about that. This is unbelievable. I don't believe that for 1 second.
Mappin is out there claiming, he's said this multiple times, that basically he helped Charlie thwart the Groyper threat.
Oh, John
to TPUSA, which usually is connected to Russia, ironically, by helping Charlie to take tools and practices from Scientology and use that to thwart the Groypers. I'll get more into that in a future podcast, I think, because that's, in terms of an influence operation, that's a little bit further down the line, but let's just stick to 2018 now. So that's everything you need to know about him. So in 2018, something interesting happens with Mappin. I think it's about March or April, might have been March. He starts tweeting to Charlie, to Candace and Turning Point USA, but really zeroing in on Candace. And we don't really know why. I mean, we know why from this podcast, but probably don't know why. And the opening thing is when she went to visit the U.S. embassy that just opened in Jerusalem. He compliments her for that and says, "Yeah, man, the Democratic Party has a real problem with anti-Semitism." And something to the effect of, "Thank you for standing up for Israel." See, just like a good influence operative or a social operator, you know, just that type of personality, like he changes along with her. Right there, she's pro-Israel. So he's using that. He's going to be pro-Israel to build a bond with her. He's reaching out to her publicly. That doesn't really land, but he keeps going. And as the year goes on, it increases in tempo. And he starts almost, I don't know if reckless is the right word, but he really jumps to foreign policy immediately, which I find so interesting because you would think he would want to wait, you know, but no, he wanted to cut right to the chase. On July 25th, for example, he tweets to Charlie Kirk and to Candace Owens saying, get Turning Point involved in foreign policy activism to promote U.S. friendship with Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Yeah, he included North Korea and Iran. Yep. Other ones are about Russia and China. I mean, Russia's always there, but sometimes China, sometimes Iran, occasionally North Korea. And he's offering to help them do that. So he's trying to say I have added value. You're not really into foreign policy yet? Well, here's something I can dangle in front of you. You want to be a big peacemaker. You want to change the world. I'll help you do it. That's what's being implied there. But he's trying to plant that thought in their heads. He's doing it publicly at that point. Let's see. Here's one from, yes. So Kanye West, in that same year, he publicly tweets about how he loves Candace Owens. That's April 26, 2018. And Mappin responds to that. Says, that's another opportunity for me to make contact with Candace. And he tweets, you have caps lock awoken the caps lock world and Black America. Camelot Castle, which he owns, from England calling. Deliver your message of freedom from King Arthur's Round Table. There are many other bright, free minds that would like to add their voices to yours and to that of Kanye West. So he's trying to reach out to Kanye West at the same time, but Candace is the big target. I guess he's hoping, you know, maybe Kanye can help him. But think about that. So already in this part of 2018, he's saying to Candace and Charlie and Turning Point, but really zeroing in on Candace, get involved in foreign policy, get involved in the multipolar world, as Dugan calls it now. Friendship with Russia, which, by the way, in the intelligence world, that's like, it's actually a joke. Like, you'll hear people joke about, like, oh, I bet I'm a Russian spy. Hey, do you feel that Russia and America should be better friends? Like, it's such a classic intel recruitment line that I don't even know if they use it much anymore because it's like a joke. It's like, like that's what you would joke about. I've been at intel conferences. That's the type of thing we joke about. It'd be like, oh, is North Korea going to recruit you? And then, like, you would joke back, like, oh yeah, don't you think that North Korea and America should be better friends? You want to play a role in building a friendship? Because, like, who says no to friendship? So it's like almost a joke. So he's using that line, using it publicly at this time, and saying to Candace, get involved in foreign policy. You're wonderful, blah, blah, blah. Come to the UK. She's not responding, though. But he keeps at it. I wonder why. Wonder why. August 13th. We go back to my screen. I think I want to show this one. Oh yeah, John Mappin is in the Epstein files. I'm not accusing him of anything, but like that's out there.
Candy, you ain't got nothing to say about that? John Mappin in the Epstein files?
Yeah, here we go. This is a good one.
It sounds like John Mappin was grooming. Like what Ryan is describing to me sounds like the basis of grooming. All right, I'm gonna keep throwing this nugget out here and see if this that nugget didn't take. Okay, well let's just throw this little nugget out here. Okay, I'm gonna throw this little chicken bone out here. Throw this out here until she finally responded, I guess, by saying, "Okay, cool, I'll meet up with George." Is this where he had to just say, "Listen, I'll introduce you to George Farmer. His parents are loaded. You know, they're billionaires." That's what it took, Candace. Because your little dummy behind can't tell when you're being groomed. So John Mappin said, "You know what? Let me make this. Let me throw some more gold on the plate, on the tray. How about I introduce you to somebody who's the son of a billionaire? And he's ready to get married, you know, because everything's fake and gay for him. So, you know, he's fake and gay. But he needs to get married and have some kids and all that. Plus, he wants to take over TPUSA. I think you would be a good fit to take over TPUSA because John Mappin knew that Charlie Kirk was not studying his dumb ass. He knew it. He couldn't get Charlie Kirk's attention. The audacity of you to say what they should and should not be doing. You don't run anything. You don't dictate how he navigates his company. And when John Mappin realized, I'm not going to be able to get through to Charlie Kirk, let me try the little dummy girl that's standing next to him that would love to just be throwing a bunch of money. You know, I mean, she don't want to pay rent for 7 months. She's got to be struggling somewhere. So that, you know, we could at least have somebody on the inside of TPUSA. I cannot imagine Charlie Kirk having conversations with John Mappin. Especially to where this idiot is lying about him practicing Scientology. A dumb cult that believes in aliens. And then you got to put 2 Coke bottle cans to your ears to get audited. What kind of crap? This is how you know he was trying to cut through to somebody because he wasn't getting through to Charlie Kirk. So he got through to Candace and her dumbass let this happen. All this grooming his old behind was doing. And it didn't work, I guess until he started saying, well, let me help introduce you to George Farmer. Young, single man, parents are billionaires. They're considered a lord over here in the UK. And then she takes Charlie Kirk's credit card and buys 2 flights to go to the UK to meet him. And he had to eventually admit that he introduced those 2. Now he thinks he's seeing Charlie Kirk in his vision. The audacity. Charlie Kirk was not studying him. Man, this is something else. I see you out there. How you doing, honey? CJB, what's going on? D. Hampton. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Harvest, what's going on? Says, why would George Farmer take over TPUSA when he already failed with TP Britain? Yeah. I think that's what they wanted. They wanted to take, because think about how the not just the influence, but you have the money flowing through. what is seen as a conservative movement, an organization with various sectors that is all based on donors and contributions of some sort, right? And for him to think that Charlie Kirk was young and dumb was his biggest mistake. That's why he went for Candace. Someone he could influence on the inside. Of course, George Farmer failed at a lot of things. He failed at Parler. He failed at TPUK. But I think that was because Charlie Kirk saw what he was doing. I think he realized, nah, they over here doing some nonsense. I'm not, no. Especially when there's information to show that he wanted to take over. He wanted to be in a higher ranking. My question is, how did George Farmer quit, or was he told to resign? He only worked for TPUK for a short period of time. But was he forced out? Or did he just leave realizing I'm not going to get what I want? Because what? George Farmer don't need a job. His parents are billionaires. He really doesn't need a job. So the only purpose for him to be infiltrated in TPUK or TPUSA would be for control. It's the aspect of the control. And he realized he couldn't get it. Because otherwise he didn't need the money. Still doesn't. Candace lied like hell about this. She don't need no money. She can afford international attorneys. The girl don't need any money. But see, just like with Parler Inc., George treated TPUK like it was just a sideline project. And if he was serious about it, he would have kept doing it. But he wasn't. His goal was take control. And who knows if John Mappin may have been using George Farmer to try to infiltrate TPUK or TPUSA. And then to try to use this organization as an extension for influence. Knowing this, TPUSA has the ability to help pull in votes in the Conservative Party and the Republican Party to get behind Trump. They have the ability to do it. They've proved it. And they have funding coming in. If you could get something as large as a TPUSA, especially with them having a lot of sway over young voters, to start thinking Russia's actually a good thing for you all. You might want to be friends with them. Like, get out of here. They want to destabilize us as a nation. Kick rocks. But imagine if he would have been able to successfully get Charlie Kirk to adopt the ideals that he was trying to obviously push out there, that he's now influenced Candace to believe. George Farmer, same thing. Imagine if they were able to get to Charlie Kirk. TPUSA would be a very different organization. Imagine if John Mappin had more sway over Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk probably would be advocating for friendship with Russia. And what's so crazy is he would have a lot of younger conservatives influenced to believe that. But John Mappin realized I ain't getting through on this one. Let me try the other one. Charlie Kirk was like, kick rocks. You and your dumb Thetans. You're in a cult. Get out of here. It didn't work. It didn't work. And so Candace now feels indebted to John Mappin because he introduced her to George Farmer. Now she's in a life of luxury for however long until he decides to divorce her ass. She knows at the very least she'll get alimony and child support. So win-win for her. She walks away, she'll be able to get a boatload of money even if he does divorce her. And what's left? Because then she will be of no use to anyone if George Farmer leaves her. So whatever got Candace enticed to thinking, yeah, John Mappin is a good dude. And I'm sure it just was simply because he helped introduce her to George Farmer. Candace claimed to have been in a relationship with someone else at that time. So you get into a relationship with George Farmer, 18 days, he proposing to you over a Zoom call. Because you already knew him. He wasn't a perfect stranger to you. You already knew him. And it was already understood, if you're with me financially, you don't have to worry about anything. And now she feels like she's indebted to John Mappin because of this so-called meet and greet. Because, I mean, what is she going to do? If she starts to go against John Mappin, then it's going to piss off George Farmer. Right? That's what it comes down to. George Farmer knows exactly what he was doing when he was there at TPUK. He wasn't there to just, I want to make things better for conservatives. No, he don't care about that. It's all about control. When you've got all the money in the world, what's left to get? Power and control. And now he has someone in his ear that's been influencing him all the time, probably for years, to think that Russia's a friend. Now he's over there going fishing in Russia every weekend or whatever. All that nonsense. Look how they're trying to infiltrate organizations where they know this could be a one-stop shop. You get to TPUSA, you got money flowing there, influence, connections, and you have a whole movement where the majority of the supporters are like younger people, younger voters, people who are just turning 18, 19. They're getting to kids while they're in college. They're about to start, going out to high schools. Imagine being able to make that type of impression on such a large population through one organization. It's like a non-stop shop. You got everything you need in one place. And John Mappin was trying to use Candace to do that. And Candace now all of a sudden talking about, why do you out there? She keeps saying TPUSA should do the right thing and put me back on payroll. Give me a monthly retainer for their PR so that you can sit here and say, as the public relations person for TPUSA, we're going to make nice with Russia. Get up, don't kick rock. Now y'all understand how this stuff coming together. Because I told y'all, I see through Candace. She's so stupid. Her saying something like that is so unorthodox. You can't help but to pay attention to it. TPUSA should put me back on the payroll. Wow, so you can claim you have some affiliation? The irony of her going to Russia and coming back and then basically showing her hands. Both. And if you're paying attention, you'll be able to see. Now, see, okay, well, it makes sense for her to try to get back in with TPUSA, thinking she's going to come back and to be able to try to influence the United States of America to make nice with Russia. We don't owe them shit. But imagine if she were the PR strategist for TPUSA. Imagine. She would be their mouthpiece. Think about that. Because otherwise, she can't stand it. They fired her. She only worked there 19 months. She's never going to be CEO. And if she can get people to hate Erica Kirkland, probably influence people to start trying to call for her to step down or to be removed. Who says the next person will not be as strong as Erica Kirk is? To ignore Candace's dumbass. Candace, I told you I see through you, you dumb heifer. You're an idiot. And she wants to be back on TPUSA's payroll or to get a monthly retainer from them. And for what? Well, she's married to someone that is a billionaire. For what? It's that influence. that power. You go over here and try to influence one of U.S.'s largest conservative organizations that have a lot of young people on their support system. You know, they're impressionable when you're 18, 19 years old. Wonder what it would be like to tell them all the things that you've been told about Russia's a lie. You should be nice with them. And then that reach goes out to millions of Americans around the country. And you have this connection to the president, to political leaders and figures. To be able to say, well, if you don't sit and make nice with Russia, we will not be voting for you. That type of sway. Think about that. That's what Candace wants. All on behalf of Russia and John Mappin's dumbass. Candace, you're an idiot. You ain't getting by on it. You're not getting past that with everybody. Shout out to Ryan for doing his research on this right here. Hope you're listening, Ryan. I'm gonna see exactly where you're going with this.
All right, so August 13th, 2018. Maybe he's getting a little frustrated now. What's interesting about this is that he's lavishing the praise more on her than Charlie. Like, let's just say I'm wrong. It's an independent assessment. Then let's just say he's acting independently, which I don't believe he is. But let's just say that he clearly said, okay, I the way to get to Candace is to praise her, but to do it in over the top North Korean propaganda level type compliments, because it's just ridiculous. And you see this from then until now with the Russia-linked people that get in Candace's orbit. It's all crazy compliments like this. That's like it's I don't explain. It's like an SNL skit. But so he says, Candace Owens may be remembered as the greatest freedom fighter in history. She is freeing the whole world from the effects of mental enslavement. Most importantly, she is breaking the mental chains of the white slaves too. Ooh. Donald Trump has set free thinking loose, meaning through her. You see, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, you're a stalker and I'm never talking to you. Like that's how most normal people react. But something went on where this guy said, where John Mappin and whoever he talked to said, no, this will work. You just keep at it. Keep doing it. This is the Awoken World one. No, trying to you have Awoken the World. That's the Camelot TV network there. That's his channel. All right. And then he also starts adopting conservative language. Like, you saw a lot of the Russian influence operatives doing this. November 13th, he starts begging Candace and Charlie to bring Brexit and Turning Point to the UK to open up a new branch. Why? To fight cultural Marxism. Yes, the Russia-linked person wants them to come fight cultural Marxism. Okay. But that was the word that, the terminology was in vogue at that moment. And then she announces Brexit on October 27th. And then it really kicks into high gear. I mean, leading up to it, around the same time that the Russian social media operatives start backing Brexit, he's doing the same thing. So remember, those are things that are going on in 2018. Also this year, you have Maria Butina, a Russian spy influence agent whose sole objective was to infiltrate the conservative movement. She engaged the NRA. She gets arrested. So all that's going on. You got the Russian spy, Maria Butina, doing everything she can to get into the conservative movement. That's clearly where Russians' minds are at. Their Brexit gets formed, and they're boosting it. Mappin is reaching out to her. Russia-linked Mappin. This is all happening at the same time. Let's see if October. Let me see if I got this one. Dear Candace. This is after Brexit is formed. He puts that picture of her. Dear Candace, you are an extraordinary and noble spirit on a purpose from God. We do know how you felt because we felt it too. All the way over here in the UK. All truly free beings are connected to your sacred mission. What the hell is that? But here's the thing, it works. Let me see if
Candace is simpleton.
I think I want to give the example so you can see how this isn't an anomaly. Let me go to the mice. Let's see, ego. Here's a good one. October 31st, 2018, same time frame. Oh, no, this is it. This is the same one. Camelot Castle, his base welcomes Blexit and truly honors you. See, so he's not even mentioning Turning Point there. It's all Blexit, zeroing in on Candace. Now, here's, I don't know if what I'm about to show you is due to mapping. I mean, he's definitely encouraged it. But this will show you that this is probably more calculated, and it's not like, oh, it just was brushed off her shoulders. Let's look at some of the stuff that she has said. This is from Nathan's No Milk Bar. Yeah, what's his X account? Milk Bar TV. Really awesome guy. Does the amazing montages of Candace and other people. This is a montage that he put together. Make sure you follow him. But Alex, if you want to pull up this video, Candace, I am God's conduit. It's 4 minutes, but I think skip around and see if we can find the part where it's probably towards the end is my guess. Or actually, let's see. All right, basically, this is an amazing montage where she's basically saying she has superpowers. Charlie Kirk had superpowers, all sorts of new age Scientology type like weird stuff. And she actually says at one point,
let me know when you want me to play it.
This is God's platform. I am his conduit. So,
I'll throw it up there. Let's want to listen to it, Ryan?
Yeah, let's do it.
In earnest, he asked me, "Are you a witch?" I laughed at him on the phone. I was in London, and I said, "No. Why? What a ridiculous thing to ask me." And when you hear in the future somebody tell you, like, "We're going to Gaza Beach for a vacation," you need to look at them like they are the absolute vermin of our society, because they are. They are. Their children will be cursed, okay? There are, just in general, all of these inexplicable experiences that we have in life, and they try to make it weird for us to discuss them. Charlie and I spoke a lot about his third eye, spoke about the fact that we could both astral project, and we learned that not everybody does that naturally.
Jeremiah 22:3, do no wrong and do no violence to a stranger, the fatherless, or the widow.
The widow.
Malachi,
the widow.
I will come to you. I will come.
If the money's there, I will. Everybody stay with me now. I've been overcome by the Holy Spirit. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I'm going to come right out and say, you need to go to Candace Owens.
Candace, the Holy Spirit is going to come back and just whoop your behind in court. And then we're all going to laugh at you as you lose all your lawsuits. All of them. And then be ordered to pay millions of dollars. Make sure you ask John Mappin for the money.
.com and give me money. And while you are there,
I'm going to stop real quick, and I'm going to say you guys need to go to RyanMauro.com and give him money. And we are going to go on that Candace grift right there, everyone.
Purchase my book that is up for sale.
$1 on challenging you. If you claim...
Yeah, can we get the $1 challenge going for super chats here? Can we do a $1 challenge over here? A $1 challenge, super chat. Can we do that? Yeah, I can try, right? Let's do a $1 super chat challenge. Let's see if we can all kid everybody to do a $1 super chat. 99 cents. Yeah, he's such a demon. It's so crazy. It's like if we do a $1 challenge here, boy, the bots and the caddy asses get super mad. But they drop her $50 or $100 and they don't even care about paying their light bill. You can't make this up. Caddy's over there losing her mind. She don't want anybody else. Look, if anyone else does a super challenge, she's a pocket watcher. Lady, look over there doing a $1 challenge. The audacity. I can't believe it. I don't know. What is it in pounds? What's $1 US dollar in pounds? Whatever that equates to. I don't, Oh, look at that. Oh, thank you, Enterprise. Candace is a nut and Umois is a bum the end. They belong together. Candace is the female version of Umar Johnson. That's it, Candace. You are the female version of Umar Johnson. Oh, my God. Shout out to Enterprise Entertainment. Thank you so much. Oh, look at you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, CJB said, girl, I'll give you 10. Thank you so much, CJB. How you doing? Thank you for the $10 sticker. Thank you, Mackenzie, for the 99-cent sticker. Look at God. Listen, I'm grateful. I don't care if it's 99 cents, $1.99, or $10.99. I'm grateful for all of it. Oh my goodness. Candace gets that IRGC money. She keep promising me a $7,000 check. Candace, the least you can do is pay it up. Stop getting my hopes up. Yeah, you lying like hell to me for no reason. Why are you lying? I just want to know if anyone else got a $7,000 check. Can't make this up. Let me tell y'all something. I appreciate it either way. Thank you so much, honey. Thank you so much. Don't worry. Listen, I don't even ask like that. I just bless God for it. I appreciate the 99 cents, honey. You know I do. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. Get the 5 LLC memberships by Mindy. Shout out to Mindy, y'all. If you've gotten the membership, make sure you give Mindy a hearty thank you. And bless her for it. Thank you so much, Mindy, for your support up in here. Shout out to the mods, you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for the supers. Thank you, Susie Q, for the $2. Yeah, it's just a $1 challenge. Look at God. A $1 challenge. Man, this is amazing. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all and your support here. She said her children would be cursed. And she's pregnant. Bet you ain't never lied. She said their children will be cursed. Candace, you are pregnant, allegedly with a boy that you claim is going to make you more physically violent and want to get into fights. Candace, you want to stand by this nonsense about cursing somebody's kids? Because God don't like that. You sitting out here dogging out your own child in the womb, talking about the baby making you more physically violent. Make you want to get in more physical fights. You want to sit here and curse someone else's kids? You sure you want to do that? It's not going to end well for you, Candace. Because God said so. Oh, Lord, I believe this child is going to be Candace's greatest trauma in life for mocking God. The Bible, the widow, etc. And Andrea Yates vibes are strong. Yep. God knows how to sit you down, doesn't he? I keep telling people Candace got it coming. She got it coming. Thank you all so much for the support. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. God is always good. He's good all the time. And all the time, God is good. That's what my grandma used to say. Thank y'all so much. Man, this is awesome. Candace, you sitting up here asking people to give you money. You a billionaire. Girl, if you don't kick rocks. I appreciate you all. Thank y'all so much.
To care about these issues, prove it by donating $1 tax deductible, so it's actually less than $1. If you can't do that, you're kind of full of it. Unless you're really in a crunch, then then don't do it. But like, ask yourself, oh, do you actually just find this stuff interesting, or do you actually care? If you can do it, if you care, you get 99% of you guys, 99.999% can do a $1 tax deductible donation, so that this type of work can continue, and the other work that we're not even talking about with podcasts. But go on with. Yeah, let's go on. I'm not sure this is actually the right montage. I think I downloaded the wrong one, but it's still it lines up with the map and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I am telling you, and this is not a part of Catholic canon, but you are allowed to read it, and you should read it. I read it on a plane. I don't even know what was going through my mind where I decided I needed to read the Book of Enoch. That this is your real history. It's an absolute fact that Charlie Kirk thought that he was a time traveler. I said to him in response that I didn't feel the same way, and that I thought I was from another planet, that I was an alien.
Hear you for judgment. I will be a swift witness against sorcerers and against those who exploit the wage earners and oppress the widow and the fatherless.
Oh, hilarious.
You will be cursed. Every person who steps foot on that. Every family.
Thank you, Zoe, for the $2 super. Knew I was saving my last for special love. Thank you. Oh, that warms my heart. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank y'all so much for the support. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. I never, ever require anybody to... I just, Candace. You have no idea what you're doing. You're sitting here asking your audience to help you pay your attorney's fees. And you know you don't need it. And Ryan Mauro, when he comes, we're going to show him some love as well on July 1st. So he said he's in between jobs. So hopefully you guys, we can all of us, I'll be a blessing to him. And I will leave him a super on his channel if he has it. If he has an option for it, if not, I'll send him a cash app and be a blessing to him, because I think that's how it should be. When you're blessed, then you bless others. And I think he said he is between jobs or something like that. So yeah, be a blessing to him. He's only asking for $1.
That is set to inherit what they did, they will be cursed. Your children's children will be cursed. Explain this to you guys, that if I do something bad, I immediately, the karma of it, I would experience. Like if I stole your phone today, which was sitting on a counter and I stole it from a restaurant, I'd go back home and my house would be burned to the ground. That's my kind of very swift karma hits me fast. It is make him a sandwich. I'm going to come right out and say it, because I have the Holy Spirit just came over me right now on the podcast, you guys. I'm just going to come right out and say it. And a lot of weird things used to happen to Charlie. He would go on runs. I think I told you guys this, after sundown. And when he was running, street lights would go out. Like it was like he was in a burst of energy, like he was a lightning bolt or something. We all have experienced deja vu. We are certain something happened, but we already did that, but it didn't actually happen. You're like, I feel like it did. Oof, I just got a bad case of deja vu. But I already knew George. That's how I describe it. I saw his face. I know that doesn't make sense, but it happened that way. I looked at my husband's face and I already knew him. It was like a sigh of relief. At least I'm clear. I'm speaking about politics and I'm giving you my opinion. I'm not going to dress this up in the word of God, okay? You know what? This is not my platform, okay? I genuinely believe this is God's platform. I'm a conduit. We love being independent, obviously. You can head to CandaceOwens.com and buy your...
We can stop it there. That's what I was waiting for. So, like, you can laugh and be like, oh, John Mappen's way of reaching out to her is like, you can dismiss it and be like, oh, he's weird. Like, no, that's calculated. Did it work? Did it work? Yeah. Would that normally alienate people? Yeah. John Mappen has friends. He has social networks. So he knows. He would not do that if he knew. Exactly. If he thought she was like a normal person, would be turned off by that, he wouldn't have done it. He had extraordinary confidence that acting that extreme in his flattery would work. And did it work? Look at stuff she's saying about herself, which is even more narcissistic than back then. I don't know if that's due to his influence, but I mean, I'm sure it played a role. But they had her figured out. Mappen and whoever he was working with had her figured out. So now here's where we'll come to the end of this influence operation, this part of the story with 2018. So he's reaching out very obsessively. Actually, I have a file in there. I don't know if I want to pull it up because I want to wrap up, where I just screenshot all the tweets to her. And I mean, it was a part-time job for him, how much he was tweeting to her. I mean,
he's crazy.
He was on a mission to make contact with her. And you would have thought, like I said, anybody else would have blocked and been like, I ain't talking to this guy. It worked. So she announces Blexit. Russia starts promoting Blexit. He doubles down, reaching out, using these same lines. Get involved in foreign policy. Be a peacemaker.
Hey, Kelly.
Somewhere in there, they make contact. I don't know which one did. Somehow it happens.
I think Ryan is.
And as Candace tells the story,
I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Ryan mentioned he was in between, or he was transitioning between employment. So that I do understand all too well. So I want to make sure I didn't mishear him or anything like that, or misunderstand him. But we're definitely going to be a blessing to him either way, because this research is something else. And he puts the shows together and presents his information, very straightforward and well done. And we all appreciate this. I know I do. I love this. I love good research being shared. And it starts to help you understand a lot more of what her end game is. Her goal in this is to have this power and influence and control. Because she has money. And she doesn't have a problem getting it if she needs it. She can get it from her coat. So, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think he said he was transitioning between employment.
Felt just felt spiritual calling, just felt. She had to go to London. I didn't know why.
She already.
I said, Charlie, we have to go to London.
Well,
He's like, why? She's like, I don't know. I'm supposed to be there.
You're welcome, Shady. Yes,
and
position. Okay.
Charlie's like, well, we're Turning Point USA. What are you talking about going to the UK here in 2018? What? And she says that she like used his credit card to book the trip, and she forced him to go. She consistently says he didn't want to go. She like pressured him into it, and he just was like, all right, fine, whatever. The part that she leaves out of that story, and this is probably what convinced Charlie to say, all right, whatever. And this is what that spiritual feeling was. As soon as she arrives, John Mappin has a massive fundraiser for Turning Point to launch Turning Point UK, which he basically claims to own. All right, is it getting creepy yet? You guys feeling creepy about hearing this now? I wasn't just talking about weird people doing weird things. Now it's weird, right? So he raises a ton of money.
Yeah. Jump in real quick, and I want to highlight Zoe Patty here with the $40 super chat.
Ooh, wow, thank you.
You're doing important work. Thank you for educating us, Zoe. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Zoe.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. So he puts together a fundraiser of up to 250 people. That's how many people could fill the venue. We have video of it. Actually, you can find it online, but we don't need to wear it. Mappin is hosting Charlie and Candace, and he introduces them at this event. And the flyer for it, which I have, is December 11th, 2018, it's like Camelot, his entity, and then Turning Point, like next to each other, like equivalent. Not like that's not usually how you do a fundraiser for something. Like this is very clearly him almost licensing the Turning Point brand to launch Turning Point UK. He fundraises for it. Says on X that he helped direct it, which I believe it because all the money's coming through him. He launches it. And think about how insane this is. If any of you guys have ever worked in business or a nonprofit, you're going to know what I'm saying. So Napa makes contact with them in November, right? Maybe, yeah, so it'd be November. They all know each other. And then within that would be, let's say it was November 1st, you're looking at 6 weeks, but it probably wasn't November. You're looking at like 4-5 weeks. Someone you don't even met. Candace and Charlie are hightailing it to London. She's dragging him along. He's holding a big fundraiser for it, and they launch a new branch. That doesn't happen in the nonprofit sector or the business world, but I mean, I definitely know in the nonprofit sector, like that takes years of relationship building and preparation. Like, think about how insane this is. Charlie doesn't even want to go. He goes, and this guy, Russia connected, who reaches out to them saying, come to the UK so that we can help build, basically promote Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. And then that, like, immediately, as soon as they land, fundraiser, and he launches with his brand, Turning Point UK. Yes, a matter of weeks. That, I've never heard of a fundraiser being done that quickly. I've never heard of a branch being conceived of and launched that quickly with someone you barely know. This never happens. So when Candace says, oh, I just had a spiritual feeling of going, no, your spiritual feeling was that there was a massive fundraiser with 250 people there. And something went on to incentivize her to go. Like, you know, maybe we'll find the answer in what I'm about to say happens next. But a lot of you guys probably know. And the whole time he's still tweeting at them while they're there. How weird. So Turning Point UK is launched. I wonder how much Charlie even knew. I don't even know if Charlie knew that was going to happen. Because there was no Turning Point advertising or talking about, like, there's no record of it. It just happens. So now he has Mappin on the pet. Like, if you're Charlie, you now have a second branch and you have new leaders who you barely know that are almost on par with you. That's, Russia aside, that's a takeover operation, folks. Take away Scientology, take away, like, in any context that happens, that's a takeover operation. That's infiltration, that's someone hijacking an organization. That's exactly what that looks like.
What I say?
Now you add the Russia stuff and all this other stuff that's going on.
Didn't I just say that like 15, 20 minutes ago? Uh-huh. Her and George Farmer wanted to take over. And I think Charlie Kirk knew that. He told them both to kick rocks. You can't make this up. I told y'all they wanted to take over. Candace is still trying to get back in TPUSA talking about put me on your payroll. No, you dumb demon. The idea that she thinks it's going to just her saying that is going to work. No. They're not putting you on their payroll. They're not giving you a retainer. They're not paying you one copper penny to do anything for them. Especially knowing not only are you attacking Erica Kirk relentlessly, you've attacked half of the people there in higher executive level leaderships. No, you worked for them before you were fired. They owe you nothing. And it had to be a reason why George somehow was disconnected. Was he fired? Forced to resign? Realized this ain't going the way I wanted to go? Why did he leave? I want to know why George Farmer left. They make this up.
This is nuts.
Woo-cha.
Now, what happens? They hold the fundraiser, it launches, and either the next day or that day, what happens? Anybody know? I'm going to look in the comments, see if anybody knows. I'm just interested to see.
So while you're looking at that, we got 2 more super chats in.
Do we?
Miss Pink coming in with $10 saying, we need your voice right now with everything.
Oh, Sifa, I'm so sorry. You lost your dog. The dog was 17 years old. I'm so sorry, honey. Yeah, our pets are our family as well. Oh, poor baby. So we're praying for you, okay? Loss is loss, honey. Our pets are like family. My goodness. I'm so sorry to hear that, honey. Y'all show C for some love up in here.
Going on in the world. Thank you, Miss Pink. And also, we have Tracy Benna with just dropping a $10 super chat. So thank you so much to both of you. We appreciate that.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Like, I know it's tough out there, guys. Like I can't, like, I grew up with no money. I'm not going to go into a whole thing, but just I feel the pain that everyone is feeling now and has ever felt like financially. Like, I get it. I get that that's like a sacrifice. You're doing that for the cause, for me specifically. So thank you. Only look at the comment. Yep. Some of you guys got it. So what happens next? Yeah. I'm glad someone said it. They say Paul Joseph Watson. So the story of who introduced her to her husband, that's what happens. Oops. Yeah. So fundraiser, she meets George Farmer. And so those clips where she's like, I just locked eyes with him. I knew it was my husband. Yeah. The rich guy at the super rich elite event, fundraising, probably for your platform, giving you a bunch of money. And George Farmer, we now know, thanks to Candace, travels back and forth to Russia. John Mappin claims that he introduced them. Candace said it was Russell Brand. She also said it was Paul Joseph Watson from Russia linked to InfoWars. Watson also got busted saying very, very anti-Semitic things in a recording years after this, too. So those are relevant data points. Like, how many Russia-linked people or Russia-linked entities are going to be in one spot? Like, I'm not saying Watson is, like, directly Russia-linked. I don't know. But I know InfoWars sure as hell is and was. So you have Mappin, Russian influence operator, holding this big event, basically trying to hijack Turning Point. Farmer, he introduces her, or whatever goes on there. They meet, lock eyes, and fall in love, even though George actually said in an interview that there was no romantic feeling. Which is like, that's the definition of not having a romantic feeling. What dude says that? What, like, you really have no romantic feeling if you say that. So he's going back and forth to Russia on his little fishing trips. Watson is there. Russell Brand, I'm almost positive he's pro-Putin. I know he's been dancing around with anti-Semitism too. And in 2018, that's all very weird. It's not like it is today. Like, it's hard to find people that think Putin is good in 2018. It wasn't fashionable. So her story keeps changing about who introduced her to George. I've collected every statement I could find of her telling the story, and I still can't make sense of it. It's weird. And so they meet, they lock eyes. Later, after she goes back home, he flies to the U.S. For a conference that she's at, and then he flies back. After he flies back to UK, 19 days later, he proposes to her, as every romantic stud does, over FaceTime. They hadn't kissed. They hadn't had a date. They hadn't had any really romantic connection. I shouldn't say that. Well, you look at him now, you feel like there's no romantic connection. I mean, I don't want to judge it, but like some people, you see the chemistry, and then you don't. Like, you just, he's widely rumored to be gay, and it's more than just one person, Raheem. I heard that story before it became well known too. By the way, from Raheem about George Farmer hitting on him and trying to, grab him and kiss him and make out with him. There have been rumors about that before, and not that I actually care, and maybe he's bi and he actually does love Candace. I don't know, but I'm just saying it's a data point that when there's that many oddities in one spot, it is a factor. When you're saying, well, how unlikely is this, but what his taste is in women, then I don't I don't care. But it's relevant with all this weird stuff going on at this moment. Him saying, oh, there's no romantic feelings and we didn't kiss or go on a date. And then 19 days later, he proposes to her over freaking FaceTime. And she says yes. She says yes. What? Any women in the chat? Imagine the best looking guy, richest guy that you could ever meet, the guy you dream about. If you meet him once, you never kiss him, go on a date or anything, and he proposes to you over FaceTime, do you hang up the phone or do you say, yes, we're getting married? Tell me in the chat right now. Oh, yeah, she was in another relationship of 7 years. That's right, Mindy. I forgot that. Come on, ladies, tell me. Be honest. Could a man be good looking enough, powerful enough, and have enough money for you to ever be like, yeah, to that proposal? No, that's no's. Close that screen, someone says. I don't know if... Oh, close the screen, me on the phone. Okay. Yep. So, laugh at him and hung up, right? So that time frame, November 2018, some crazy stuff went on that we don't know about. I think Charlie didn't even know about. But again, what's the narrative here? It's mice, guys. It's the influence operation. All this stuff. If I didn't cover this and tell this story in phases of an influence operation, this would just be a story about weird people doing weird things, and a lady that at some point falls in love with Russia and starts hating Jews. That would be the story. No, we're putting together the evidence and telling the story in a way no one else has, so that we can connect all these things and make sense of them. They're not just weird. I can't explain all of them. But it's part of something, and it's something that you'll see with other influencers. You'll see in other parts of civil society. This is a weird influence operation. It's an extremely good example, but you're going to learn a lot from this if you look at it as a manual, not just a crazy dramatic story. So let me see if there's anything. So actually, we'll leave off with. I won't continue the story past that point because I want to. There's a certain way I want to do this. I want to go in the phases of an influence operation. But I want to show one thing that's just, again, a data point. So December 17th, Mappin is bombarding Candace with these tweets. Again, all this stuff about build an alliance with Russia. Let me see if I might actually have the quote here. He urges Charlie and Candace, destroy the globalist agenda, fight the weaponized media campaign against Russia. What's on his mind, folks? What's his mission? It's not even him. It's not even about his own interest. He did a little pro-Russia stuff, then he meets with them, it goes really well, and now he's just freaking a tidal wave of pressure to get them involved in pro-Russia campaigns. I mean, help fight the weaponized media campaign against Russia. Guys, that's recruitment. That's a solicitation. That's I don't know if Mappin is the handler, an official part of Russian intelligence, or how that's going, but that's it. That's how espionage works. That's an influence operation. In fact, it's so blatant, I'm surprised by it. If there was any reason for me to doubt it, it would be that it was so blatant and in your face, and I would think it was clumsy, but it worked, so it's not clumsy. But if someone was meeting with me saying, how do you do this? I would say that's too much. That's too much. But they had her figured out. Now, let me see if I can find this one last video. I'll show you guys, and we'll go to super chats and things like that. Let me see if I can find it. Because it's just, I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on this. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Maybe it is. Oh, real quick. I know it's a little off. Actually, no, it's relevant. If we go back to my screen here, he's also praising Andrew Tate. The Christian Scientologist is praising the charity of Andrew Tate, September 10th, 2025. So that's actually the day of Charlie's death. Not that it's connected to that. Well, let me see what time it is on there. I'm sure it happened before. But this is all one social circle, guys. This is what a cell looks like. This is This is it in action. I want to show, because people that saw episode 1, when I was talking about the Tate connection to what I believe Candace's next plot is with the shifting of assets to Dubai and moving to Russia, how that all works. If we could just bring up this one, the Tristan Tate brags about controlling video.
Diane, Sabs, Tiara, how y'all doing? Welcome in. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button coming in. Oh man, he asked a question about would you marry a guy if he was rich and stuff? If he's gay, the answer is no, because then that's just embarrassing. Candace is his gay wife. I mean, like, no, I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not marrying a man that's going to actually embarrass me every day. I have to look at him and wonder, so who is his boyfriend again? What? He was more happy taking a photo next to Milo than he was holding a baby with Candace. Like, that is Candace, you ought to feel this big. You ought to feel this big. Your lavender husband would rather take a photo with another man and smile big as bright as day, like the cheese, like all up on him, holding his arm and everything, all subtle, like. And he goes out on interviews and says how there was no romance, nothing. I said from day one, none of that, no, icky. Yeah, all this money in the world is not gonna sit here. No, you can't pay for for me to be miserable. And then they bring it now a 5th child into this whole mess. People wonder why she's miserable and scorned. Candace knows she wants what Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk had. A loving, happy marriage with 2 kids. Candace, no one is making you slide babies out of your uterus. You choose to do that. You could just get your tube side and say, George, no more turkey basting. I can't handle it. This girl having a baby every year. Make this up. Oh, thank you, C5. We'll check it. How y'all doing? This girl giving birth it seems like every year, every other year. Like, man, you understand what pregnancies are really doing to the human body? You will space that thing out. Candace don't even know how to sit still. They ain't talking about, I'm good. I can't sit in the house like a caged bird and blah, blah, blah. But yet you don't have a problem lying about someone trying to assassinate you. Girl, bye, Felicia. Candace is the one sitting here giving this faking gay husband all these kids. For what? He had to explain all of this to all these kids. Well, you know, I tell your mother, there was no romance from day one. I'm sure you all are wondering who's this man with daddy. Oh. You know, it's someone I was introduced to. It's by chance there. It's only by chance. And then we fell in love. He's basically married to Candace to secure some sort of citizenship in the U.S. And I guess what? In exchange for her giving birth 5 times, he'll make sure she doesn't have to worry about bills. That's it. Somebody, George and I are very happy. Keep lying to yourself. She's happier when a woman is kissing her all over the face and he's hugged up with another man. Photos speaks 1,000 words. Candace, I think it's IVF too, child. He's like, I'm not putting this in that. He smells like yeast infection a mile away. Child, Candace, you're an idiot. You married a man that you knew was fake and gay.
I'd like to show that to everybody.
And how much money do you have?
Get in the air.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Hypothetically, if I were to get married now and get divorced and the world's top financial auditors were trying to give my wife half of my net worth, technically that would be zero.
How much money do you control?
A lot, 9 figures.
Wow.
Yeah, 9 figures, certainly. If you were to say, could I sell this house, sell this car, pull money out of this bank account, out of this crypto account, I'd say I don't control it. But the people who would do as I ask, I think, yeah, a good, healthy 9 figures.
What?
See, so they openly are talking about how they hide assets. And then they just...
Wait, that said Tristan Tate. Who is who? Child. Andrew Tate's the pimp. Tristan Tate's the one that's the one to be wealthy one. Okay.
Happened to show up at that event that or the same city where Candace was at in that short little Russia trip, where she spoke at the most secure event in Russia year round, and does all these other things that line up with her moving and having to move assets, and the exact people who brag about it, those guys show up. Like, my case is solid, guys. Solid. But I want to show one more video, and then we'll close out this episode and go to the super chats and everything, because this phase of the influence operation will be complete after I show you this.
Candace knows she married to a gay husband. She probably wish she married Andrew Tate.
No, it's not that one. Not that one.
Candace would rather have Andrew Tate.
Okay.
Exactly.
Alex, if you want to pull it up. Candace, December, DEC, 2018, Adderall, Russia denial. I don't know if she's on Adderall in this, but it was posted at 11:30 at night. And again, I'm not just trying to like trash her for anything and everything, but like based on the literature of what I shared with you guys, like if they're looking for vulnerabilities and she talked about using Adderall in the past, like this would be relevant, but that's not actually not the point I'm making. So this is I believe December 17th. So she just did the fundraiser and everything. Keep in mind, she's not talking about foreign policy, but there's a few reasons that this video is significant if we're able to play it. Just skip, because it's really long. She just goes nuts. Just skip around and see when like she's going like kind of crazy.
Their plantation who don't read. That's literally the view the black. If you're a black person, you don't know this yet. You got to wake up eventually. I mean, it could not be more in our face than it is right now, really. But this is a level of stupid that I didn't even think that they thought we were. Like, sure that they keep picking this cotton here on our Democrat plantation. We got to make sure these Negroes.
Yeah, Candace. Oh Lord, mercy. Crack is wet, y'all. She acted just like Whitney Houston. And I want to run to you. Don't get me wrong. I love Whitney Houston's music in her heyday, okay? But let's be honest. Whitney Houston did cocaine. She said, crack is whack. I done made too much money to ever smoke crack. Crack is whack. She did cocaine. Candace, you had just like Whitney Houston, high on cocaine, girl. Oh my God. Put the Adderall down. Does Adderall make you do this? Is this why she still has these skin and bone arms and face like an alien? Adderall doesn't make you lose weight and all that. What the hell? Girl.
Bros don't read. We got to make sure if they stay scared. This is literally the strategy that they have every couple of years. So done. And yet the 3 strikes policy and all the stuff that happened to Black Americans was in fact done by Democrats. Why is it that Trump, racist Trump, is reversing all that? You're worried that Black people are going to start to think, or if you want to put it back into your times, the Negroes are going to start to read and realize that all the things that we're saying is absolute BS. People should be afraid of Russian collusion. Pathetic. You should be ashamed.
Candace,
so yeah, lots of screaming and stuff there. You just go back to me. So that's a tough video to listen to. It goes on for seven minutes. She acts like that. His eyes all big and everything. So most people that see that say she's not sober. I kind of don't care. But
Ryan up there sweating. He's like, oh God. Oh baby. Oh Ryan, you gotta breathe deep when you're watching Candace on her crack binge. You just can't make this stuff up. This is ridiculous.
The point is, what sets her off? Like, think about this beyond the whether she's sober thing.
Lord have mercy.
She does this big event. She's not into foreign policy. What sets her off to make that video? And Mappin promotes it. It's a New York Times article talking about how Russia is running influence operations to target the black vote. You get them not to vote or to vote Republican because, there's, I'm not trying to make a political point left or right. There's, just think of it, at that moment, there's a strategic reason to do it. She goes nuts in that, and she's like screaming and stuff. And she keeps saying how crazy that is because she says black people have voted en masse one way for so long. And she's like, this report is obviously false, made up. You think you're supposed to believe this? They've only voted one way. You can never change that. What did she just do? She just launched Brexit. She just went to Forum Turning Point UK. She's famous because she's saying black people have voted one way and she's the person to shift it. So it doesn't make sense. But it's more important. Think about it a little bit more. So what she's saying is nonsensical. She's going nuts at how stupid it is that the New York Times saying that Russia or anybody could try to move the black vote when she's saying donate to me because I can move the black vote. Like, makes no sense, right? But then why is she saying it? Why is she taking time out of her day? Even if she is on Adderall or some other amphetamine or whatever. Why'd she snap it? Well, as soon as it gets posted, Mappin promotes it and compliments it. Mappin is part of that conversation about that. You think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden the topic of Russian influence operations is setting her off? The idea of Russia being a bad guy, I mean, she's not denying that they're a bad guy, but that's the net effect of what she's doing. She's denying that Russia is trying to interfere in our electoral process. She's denying it, saying it's stupid for no reason that we can think of. She's nonsensically attacking it at 11:30 at night, going nuts. So what does that tell me? It tells me that the conversation she was having were about Russia at that time and also in the UK. She's starting to become passionate about it when she wasn't passionate about it before. She's not a foreign policy person. The messaging coming from Mappin is now sinking in. You're seeing it. That's why I showed that video. Aside from the fact that it's entertaining, and you can probably make a lot of funny jokes about it. It's not even just about her making a bad, nonsensical argument that's completely hypocritical. She's doing it because it's not even about the argument that she's trying to articulate there. She's being set off because she's talking to Mappin about Russia and that whole idea of we have to be friends with Russia and no, Russia's not doing anything bad. So the fact that set her off just shows that messaging is now sinking in, and there were probably conversations going on at that very moment we don't know about, and also especially in the UK. So that kind of wraps it all up. That's 1 year, guys. I just went for, my God, almost 2 hours, just about 2018, specifically October to December 2018.
Time flies when you're having fun.
This is a heck of a story. Before we go to Super Chats and all that, you guys can send a gift. Through YouTube, you can help support us through.
All right, this is the end of his show, y'all. What y'all think? This is the watch party. This is something else. We'll have to get in his collab he did with Gary from Paramount Tactic in another segment. Since this was a little over 2 hours, and I wanted to get in the bulk of his show in this one and do a separate live in a few minutes on what's his name? Attorney Dennis Sperling debunking Umar the Oompa Loompa on Carmelo Anthony's stuff. So I haven't seen it and I want to see it. But this has been eye-opening. And things that he said, you can kind of see some of the dots connecting. I think the whole starting point of Candace and John Mapp and all this stuff was the moment she was able to be influenced to meet George Farmer. Once John Mapp got her attention to introduce her to George Farmer and was able to sell George Farmer to her, I think that was it. Like the beginning point of that. And now she probably feels indebted to this idiot who's been grooming her all this time, and she's too stupid to say it. Candace, John Mappin has been grooming you. Can't make this up. He's been grooming you. We got a photo. Hold on. Oh, Sifa sent the photo, y'all. We gotta get it in. Let me pull this up. But this stuff, you guys can see how she is still trying to infiltrate TPUSA. She's trying to get back at TPUSA. Candace, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Find something else to damn do. Tell George to kick rocks. It's not gonna happen. My Lord. Oh, we got one. As y'all can see, your thumbnails are being used as backgrounds too. So these fantastic artwork you guys are sending me, it's becoming thumbnails and now background. Y'all see Candace? Candace, you can kiss my ass. Oh man. Did y'all see the thumbnail? Candace, baby daddy. So we got that one. Oh Lord have mercy. Jesus. Oh, this is so good. Y'all, shout out to Sifa. Shout out to Sifa. Show Sifa your love. She lost a pet yesterday, her dog. Oh my goodness. Y'all see? I told y'all. Oh, Candace, we're making good use of these photos. They're iconic. Oh Lord. So we're getting married or what? Oh, Sifa, this is awesome. Oh, no, this is it. This is exactly how you did it. So, there's still no hand holding. You can only kiss me 4 times at the wedding. And we at least need to have 3 children. They will be cared for financially. That's it. No, nothing. No romance. So we're getting married or what? Candace, you ought to feel this big. Oh, no. Get it on one knee was just too much to handle, huh? He said, I'm not getting down there for you. Then I have to smell that. Y'all, we'll put him in direct line of spelling that yeast infection. He's like, if I have to get on one knee, I'm going to pass out. Oh, Lord. This is how George proposed. Yeah, so we're getting married or what? When are you going to do this? Get this over with. Oh, I know, right? Let's do this and piss some hairs off. Oh, man. I think it's the yeasty apartment she is in. I can understand why he would not want to get on one knee. And no one should be subjected to that smell. Candace, kiss my ass. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I'm going to push back the Candace live to a later time so we can get in this video that I was sent. And then we'll set up the Scientology Sunday for the documentary. So thank y'all so much for joining me in the watch party. Ryan will be with us July 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I appreciate all of you all. And if you can tune in to the next one, great. If not, I understand it is nice outside. So go outside, go for a walk. I might get outside for 30 minutes a day and go for that boob walk. Oh, Lord. If you understand why I said that, you'll get the joke. Mauro Crocs. But if not, then I will see you all in the next one. And you guys be good. Hype the videos up when it is done. Hype the video. Please hype the videos up and hit the like button. Thank you all so much for the financial support as well. For all the supers and the stickers and everything. You guys are amazing. And I will see you all in the next one. Until then, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.